What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Tuesday night, and guess what? You should be able to hear everybody from the start.
You should say guest what?
Guess what?
What?
I think I fixed it. I think you can hear. You guys can hear. I can hear you. I think everybody can be heard on the show, and I'm not echoing. Right?
Has anybody confirmed that in chat yet?
Brian said it's a miracle.
So
It's
far,
a
I can hear
miracle.
ourselves.
Outstanding.
Pre-Christmas miracle.
Yes. And you know what? Even the Jews can do Christmas miracles.
That's right.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Tuesday night. It is another NLG show. How about that? I got it working. Star Paddler says fake news. Dude, Star Paddler, welcome to our chat. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to our show. If you knew the pain in the ass that OBS has been since I've updated it over here, it has been a nightmare. So a little celebration for me is in order. So welcome, everybody. It is a great night. We've got a great show planned. We also have a really good panel tonight. And as always, it doesn't happen unless I forget that Dreadpool was coming on.
That's right.
Yeah.
I almost have to put you into my calendar. That's how I have to do it. Because
At least I remembered.
you did. You did. And I'm like, why is Dread calling me? And he's like, are you dropping in tonight? He said, I thought I was supposed to. Shit. So, yes. So, welcome. Welcome, Dread. It's always great to have you, brother. How are you?
I think, oh no, thank you. I think the confusion came in when I told you it's my wife's birthday today, and you said, are you sure she's going to let you do it tonight? I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty
I think
sure.
I think that's where the confusion came in.
That could be.
Oh,
It says, I do what I want.
I got someone on their knees right now, begging and pleading. Give me 1 second. You can only say hello.
Hi, everybody.
Is that who I think it is?
Hello, tiny
Is
giant.
that the Tiny Giant?
Hi.
Hi, Tiny Giant.
say
How are
goodnight.
you?
Good.
Good?
Good
Yeah?
night.
Good night.
Right.
Good night. Good night.
As you could tell, that was Tiny Giant. She's going to bed.
Figured that.
She gets all excited anytime, and she's like, let me talk, and I'm like, always no. Same
Aw.
thing with the iconic video game podcast. She's been
Always
on there
wants to be
several
on there.
times. She always wants to talk. It's like, let them do their show.
Oh, Star
Hence,
Paddler is driving.
Mental note, I will let you do your show.
Well, no,
He
that's,
needs a show.
I know. Well, he needs his camera fixed.
Yeah.
We have
I
not
do.
seen him on camera in months. It's
Years.
like I think it's probably been a year.
Something like
No.
that.
Yeah, something like that. It's not that we
Unless
don't
you're-
know what you look like.
Well, when that hurricane came through, I did the whole, I'm going out there to the beach.
Yeah, we didn't see you on camera then.
So
I
Beard
did.
was blowing.
Yeah, I was going to say I was covered up by the hair and the beard.
yes. Back says, Mike, is this Dreadpool guy a new content creator? Oh man.
Nope.
No. And making his debut to the NLG show. I've met this man through a couple of other places, including our own great breathtaking one himself, Mr. Spooky Sprocket. It is my brother in Sega. It's good to finally outnumber the Nintendo guy here. Charlie Hustle. What's going on, Charlie? Welcome.
What is going on, people? Very glad to be here. Really enjoy Mike's content, everybody else's content, and it's awesome to get an opportunity to hang out with you guys and the chat as well tonight. So looking forward to all the things that we're going to discuss, and should be a great time.
The chat's popping already.
Well, You do know it takes about an hour before we start discussing topics, right?
Yeah.
That's
Hopefully
fine.
you can stick around by then.
Yeah. Good luck.
I'll just drop off randomly at some point.
There you go.
Well, it's not like we'll see you do it.
I have a
remember,
very,
man.
very sick family member right now.
Aw.
Well, I don't want to say very sick because I don't want to make it sound like they're non-ambulatory, but you know what I
no,
mean.
but I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah.
They're not doing
I
well right now, and they're in my R studio.
No,
I have to
no,
say
no,
that. I
no
share that with
worries.
my wife, but yeah. So I'm just gonna have to be an avatar. For this
You
evening.
are doing your job, sir, and that is awesome.
Understandable.
Exact. Family
Oh.
first. So you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Not
And
you
if
guys
it's-
aren't missing anything, So
Wow. But family is important, and that's awesome that you're so now I understand the time constraint. So what we'll do is we'll try to not take an hour to get to the topic, So
don't change anything that you do because of me.
well, we're glad you
I
can
am
make
your
it
guest,
tonight.
not the other way around.
No, but we're glad that you can make it tonight. I've started to get to know you a little bit through other people, and it's great. I'm really glad you're here. You and I forged a very quick Sega bond, and that is one that that is a good one to have. So
The Sega bonds are strong.
mhm.
Well,
Strong roots. So,
That's
real
right.
quick, before we do
y'all should
get
start
into
a
things,
Sega Bastards show then.
that's no Nintendo allowed.
I think Spooky patented that spelling of that word that he uses. So
This is true.
yeah,
So,
Besides
Which-
paying some royalties.
that's right.
Well,
Spooky's cheap though. He'd probably take a small amount.
this is true. I could probably pay him in alcohol.
No comment.
No. No. Oh, brother, boom, kaboom is here. Noof hitting his pre-show before GAD Gaming After Dark comes on in 15 minutes. Noof is popping in. What's going on, brother Noof? Don't worry, we'll be popping in your chat a little later on ourselves because that's what we do. You come and support us, we come and support you. Noof, great guy. Really up. That's not going to come up on the chat on screen. You realize that, Noof. You realize that it's not going to pop up on the chat. Get it? Pop up. Okay. Chris! How you doing, man?
Yo,
How was your weekend?
just getting some rest. Sorry we could cover so I can come back to the show.
Yeah, how you feeling?
It was it just wasn't fun. I mean, I still went to work. I think I took one day off last week, but during that time I did get a little bit of playing. I did start up scoring, but I didn't get far. And then
First impression?
well, I like the world. I like exploring. And after seeing people's who have already been playing it, I was like, okay, it's more of a puzzle. So when I got in there, I mean, everything looked great, the sound and everything, and just wondering if anything's gonna pop up. And I think I came across my first puzzle, but I didn't solve it. So I was like, well, I gotta go. I think I was gonna watch some football, so I never went back to it. I mean, I still want to go back to it, but then later on, me and my daughter decided, I was talking about, I was talking about Ark with my brother-in-law, and then I brought up, Grounded is coming out. It's in Game Pass. I think, all of us, we and the family should jump in there together. So me and my 9-year-old started that, and I kind of got hooked on that, and I want to keep playing that.
Okay.
So, yeah, that kind of got my hooks. And I replaced the 1S in the living room with the Series S because I got to get a pretty good deal on that at Target. So, definitely impressed. Even though I already know that You know, it has SSD, it has all the upgrades, and it's also quick like the Series X. But just, you know, right away when I unplugged this 1S and put the Series S and then started booting up, it's like, damn, this thing's quick. So, and I tried telling the wife, I go, you notice anything? No. You didn't see how fast it was? No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know shit then. Just watch your
I
shows.
love the
There you
Series
go.
S.
Here's your streaming, yeah. So, yeah, so, you know, yeah, no, I enjoyed that. Really going to be playing some more Grounded. And
Nice.
I almost picked up, and I think I'm still going to, is Gotham Knights. My brother, he had texted me about it. And I said, is it co-op? Can we get on together? He said, yeah. I said, all right. I wasn't planning on getting it right away, but I mean, I do want to play it, so we'll see. Maybe this weekend.
Nice.
Other
So
than
you
that,
guys,
missed you guys.
and Noof, and you guys aren't selling me on Scorn.
I'm still not sold.
I just need to
And I
keep
played
playing
about
it
an hour
more.
and a half of it.
Yeah.
I played all the way through it, and it's interesting.
Are you alone, even with you when you are with someone? Do you have a wife, but you're still alone? Are you sexually deprived? Play Scorn and feel left out.
Yeah.
Wow, Noof.
Sorry.
No, Noof is trying to work around the profanity filter,
Yeah.
and so far it hasn't worked.
But I love the whole look and the premise of Scorn. I know there's a lot of puzzles. I like puzzle games. Sometimes you just gotta get yourself into it. So we'll see when I finish it. Of course,
Alright.
Peter finished it, so.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was enough scorn for me.
Yeah. You've been
Not going to
scorned.
play through it again, huh?
No. I think I got the full gamer score, and that was it.
Yo, we got a real quick. We got a guest in chat. I haven't seen in a long time, but I know him in person. Is we got Level 1 Gaming in chat. I'm sure that's my brother Fame that I've known from PAX South. So hey man, welcome in the chat. Appreciate it.
Oh, welcome.
And
In fact,
then
go ahead.
don't forget,
yeah, don't
we
forget.
always have a mass hole in the chat. There's always one mass hole in the
Always
chat.
one
once in a while.
mass hole among them.
Yeah.
So, let
How
me
did
grab
he get
that.
through? I'm kidding.
I don't know. You know, the mass hole filter. You know, let me grab the chat before it scrolls off and I don't know who's who. So, Brother Jay's in the house, Retro Renegades, and Brother Rich, Bacon Ice Cream Productions, back from the dead is here. Brother Timmy is here. Brother Nick is here. We got all kinds of Gamers United Guild representing up in here tonight. Star Paddler, who is driving. Thanks for hanging out. If you're listening, don't type and run yourself off the road, please. But thank you for being here. Thanks for checking us out. Hope you'll hang around and listen and enjoy. Brother Bryant is here. The miracle. Brother De Niro's here from the start. That's what I like to see. He's here. Let's scrolly. We got it's Timmy's here. Timmy's in the house. Doggy Dog. More of the Gamers United Guild is here. Doggy Dog is here. Brother Noof. He's getting ready to. He's 10 minutes out from Gaming After Dark. Hey, hey, look. I'm an equal opportunity. You want to have us on the screen and him on the phone and you chatting in both? I do that a lot. I'm not going to lie. I try to support. So we appreciate Noof coming in and hanging out with us for a little bit. I know he's got a show to do. And we'll check in with him in a little bit.
And I believe, doesn't he have another member from Backlog Bastards as a guest?
Did he pick up somebody? Because I know.
Well,
Noof
no,
was-
I mean as a guest, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I
don't-
think he's also revealing a new panel member.
I believe so. He was looking for a panel member.
Did he
So-
steal someone from Spooky's show?
Oh,
Thievery.
thievery.
If I'm wrong, is it Bushido?
Mr.
Yeah,
Bushido?
Bushido goes everywhere. He's all over the place. He's well traveled.
All right.
But he's a permanent member on Backlog Bastards, right?
Supposedly, yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, every time
We haven't totally decided yet. 'cause
Oh, good. So now
it's a
we're
week
gonna,
to week thing.
Yeah. So now that we're gonna do that here, that's awesome. Yeah, he's got Mr. Bushido. He's unveiling a new panel member tonight. It's not Bushido. Okay. So we will check in and see. We will check in and see who the new panel member is. I'm curious. So, who else? Who else is here? So you said hi to Mass. Oh, Level 1 Gaming. Welcome. Thanks for coming in and checking us out as well. Brother Yobi is in the house. Peace, love, life. Brother Yobi is here. And I think we got caught up. So with that, Peter, how are you, brother?
Doing well. Doing
Yeah?
well.
How was
I
your
able
weekend?
to do some streaming last week. Some
You did.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2.
You did.
That was
What a
pretty awesome.
show. Yeah, I can't wait to hear. Can't wait to hear yours and Charlie's take on that. Dread, did you play Modern Warfare 2 yet?
Well, to be honest, I actually won it and downloaded it. But Mike, you know the situation that's been going on with me, and everybody also
do.
knows about Halloween.
I do.
So I haven't had time to sit down to play. But it's ready to rock and roll. I was going to start streaming.
Nice.
I got you.
So you'll be ready for the multiplayer later this week.
Yeah, that's going to take a backseat too.
Hey, I'm just gonna wait till it comes.
Still, because the Halloween.
Once Halloween's over with, we got to pack up everything we have in that haunted house, get it all back into the house, and then we got to pack it up and get it, put it away. So October is always busy for us.
I bet. So, so what have you? What else have you been working on this week, Peter?
Yeah, also Plague Tale. Fantastic
Nice.
game.
Another
Nice.
one.
Beautiful. Love the story. It's excellent. A couple of glitches, but nothing that will spoil it majorly.
Look
Yeah.
better than the first one.
Yes. Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd agree.
Is it on the One X also, or is it just?
Is it on the
Yes.
One X? I don't know.
I believe
No,
it is.
it's a next gen only experience.
Next gen only. Next gen.
Well,
Only.
yeah, but
It's indeed.
through. Hold on, let me see if it's
Yeah. You probably can cloud.
You could probably
might be able to
Cloud it.
cloud stream it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I will tell you. I will open the Game Pass app. If I could play it on my phone, you could play it on your One X. So, and by the way, Dread, on Saturday, speaking of haunted houses, I actually thought of you. I took my oldest to Hershey Park up in Pennsylvania, and every Saturday they're having a Dark Nights thing. So they had like several haunted areas in the park, and they did a really good job. But of
Nice.
course, it was cool but not scary because, as always, they can't touch you. So, and they
You
can't
can't
chase
solve a
you.
limb either.
All they can do is just kind of jump out at you and go ha, and hope that you jump scare, and
Oh, those are the best anyway. The ones that touch you, there's always that gray area of
well, right, but I mean, like, they can't
people
even chase
moving,
you down.
accidents.
Yeah. No, I get that, but they don't even like chase you down the hall or anything like that. They just kind of just go ha, and they hope that you. But the aesthetics were great. Like, you could tell that they spent money on it, and that was really cool. So, and yes,
came up in that time when they could traumatize you, nearly
Yes,
hospitalize, put you in the hospital from haunted houses.
yes.
Oh, we have pee competitions. Myself and my adopted mother, we go back and forth on trying to scare people, and we count how many of them we literally scare them to the point that they pee their pants.
See, that's what I want.
And that's and we don't touch people.
No, that's what I want though. And by the way, so Chris, yes, Plague Tale Requiem is cloud playable, so you should be able to play it on your 1X.
Yeah.
So,
that's
so I
cool.
did that and actually got through. It was Jacob's 18th birthday. Finished his Eagle Scout stuff. He is like this close. He's for all intents and purposes, Jacob is now an Eagle Scout. He's just it's the formality of his board of review that he's got to go through, and then his court of honor. But he has finished everything. He has finished his merit badges. He has finished his project. His application was accepted. The rest is kind of a formality. So I took him to Hershey. I got us the fast track passes, so you skip all the lines. And I tell you, it's expensive. It was about $130 a person. So it was like, for everything we did, it was like $425 to do like all the Dark Knight stuff, but all the fast pass for that and the fast pass for the rides. But I had a really good month with the band, so I was like, you know what? He's only 18 once. He only becomes an Eagle Scout once in his life, and so we went. And if you ever have a chance to get the fast track stuff, do it, because we walked up to lines that were 90 minutes long and walked right by them. The first coaster we went to is called the Great Bear. It was the one that I had decided that I was going to do. I don't do big coasters. I'm not a coaster guy. The motion is perfectly fine, but I'm afraid of heights. So that initial climb is really tough for me. The ones that are there that I can do are ones where while it's climbing, it's going up like a hill, so you're not really well off the ground. But this one is, 80 feet off the ground, spins you all around, does barrel rolls and all that stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm going on this thing. Come hell or high water. So we walked ourselves on it, strapped myself in. It was the greatest experience. I love that. That's like going to be the staple roller coaster that my son and I go on from now on.
Let me unofficially send my congratulations to him.
Well, thank you. Thank you. He will unofficially accept.
Awesome.
So
Well, that's cool. It's awesome to
Yeah.
see family stuff like that.
So it was a good weekend. Got a bit of gaming in. I started Plague Tale, and that the beginning is really good for what it is. I haven't gotten to any rats yet, but starting to make my way through.
Soon,
I'm
very soon.
sure. I'm sure. Did some.
What I like with that game, like even though it's it's a sequel, they introduce like new weapons and stuff, and new gadgets.
That's what
It's
I'm
done really
waiting
well.
for.
I can't spoil too much.
No, please don't.
Just
And then
they're actually
obviously.
quite fun too.
Obviously, I've been putting time into some other stuff that can't talk about yet, but you know what that is.
I know
and
what
that is. Yep. That is going well. So actually, I will be on tomorrow night with Chuck and Nick and
that
Rab
Forever show?
on Miko Forever. I'll be on with them.
Oh wait, you're not supposed to say it. Oh, okay.
All right, I'm not supposed to say the word. So, but
Did
I'll be
you,
on there.
Did you also forget I was supposed to come over and sleep on a couch or a spare room?
The door's been open all day. Door's
Just
been
show
open all
up.
day.
Just show
You
up.
just show up.
I might
So,
just have to do that. I know where you live too. You
Yeah.
flew over it.
Yes,
There's my house.
You did, and you've sent things here, so you know what my address is.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
forgot
that.
about that.
I heard that he
Guys,
added
what are you looking
extra
at?
dead bolts, black curtains. He doesn't want anybody around.
I told him
All I
I was
see-
looking at
heard.
flight
all
you've
I
seen
see
me.
is I see is Dread at the back door with the lightning behind him. Let me in.
walk in, you see someone sleep on your pool table, and
Right, with the controller in his hand. So,
Done that
I
before
worried
playing
if I
Halo.
lose an hour if I. No, it's just tonight. Tonight we're talking about new stuff. I still can't talk about a whole lot yet. So, still in the testing phase. So, testing is testing. I've been sending feedback back to Intellivision and having, just having dialogue with them about things. So,
But
but
you need to hurry up, sir, so you can mail it to the next guy.
I know, I know. So I've been doing that, and I also have been over the last week firing the Atari VCS back up. I'm really enjoying Yar's Revenge Recharged. I'm working on. I was originally going to do a video of kind of all the Recharged games in one video, but my Gravatar Recharge video is already 10 minutes, and that's without my recording a final shot. So I'm like, I'm going to have to do individual videos. So first video out the gate, I'm hoping by the end of the weekend is going to be Gravatar, and I'm going to do kind of what the arcade looks like, what the 2600 version looks like, and then what the Recharge version looks like. And they're great games. The Recharge games are really fun. The only one I really don't care for too much is Missile Command Recharged. But
That's the one
Gravatar, Breakout, and Tempest is not really Recharged. Tempest is Tempest 4000. But Breakout, Gravatar, Yars, and are the three that I really like. So anyway, so that's what I was doing, am doing, all working on. So, all right, Charlie.
Nice.
How we doing?
Doing well.
Excellent.
Doing well.
So, as we do with all of our first-time guests, we want to get to know the Charlie Hustle. We want to get to know who you are, what growing up gaming as a young Charlie Hustle was like, and what kind of games. I mean, obviously, your avatar speaks for itself, but what are you into? What kind of games do you like? What do you play, and what are you playing now? So, we want the history of the hustle.
All right, everyone pull up a chair and get ready for a 3-hour dissertation on my history of gaming here.
Let's go.
No, not really.
Let's go.
I'm actually in my 40s, so
Welcome to the
was
club.
there.
So you're still young. That's
That's
right.
right.
I don't feel young, but I guess in the 2020s, I'm technically still fairly young. But no, I started off always, even as a kid. I mean, my earliest memories were taking family trips and there being an arcade around, and I was always drawn to arcades. I love the sounds, even the smells, which were not always the best, but just, even now, man, I can remember how going into these arcades made me feel. So seeing those games at that time, the original Atari Star Wars, some of you guys may not have ever even seen that, but it was the vector graphic, Star Wars, just an incredible thing for a kid to see. It even had some of the sounds from the movies. So I had a 2600, Christmas of '83. My family, it was one of those family gifts because it was a big gift at the time. But we got an Atari 2600, and we got 3 games with it in addition to Combat that came with it. But we got Pac-Man, which was a horrible port in retrospect, but as a kid, I didn't care a bit. Pac-Man, Defender, and Space Invaders. Hours and hours playing with my dad, my sister. I loved that 2600 until the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. And then I was light years behind everybody who had one until I got one myself. So I got an NES Christmas of '88. And for about 2-3 years, that was just about my whole gaming world. Everything from Super Mario Brothers, of course, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3. But I played a lot of different games. I played a lot of arcade games, if you want to call those arcade ports that were on the NES. Played things like Commando 1942,
Those are good.
everything like that. And then a lot of the bigger hits, things like Contra, Castlevania, Legend of Zelda. We had all that stuff as well. TMNT and TMNT2, the arcade game. So a good variety there. But then my world changed forever when the Genesis hit the United States. I was a fairly early adopter of the Genesis. And so I even had the Altered Beast pack in. This was sort of pre-Sonic.
Yes.
I did get Sonic later. But man, that Genesis, again, being an arcade-loving kid and seeing things like Golden Axe, Altered Beast, which I don't like as much in retrospect, but I loved it at the time because of the big sprites, you know, the sound of that game, everything else, the transformation cutscene. Revenge of Shinobi, really just, I could go on forever just about the Genesis. Probably one of my top 2 or 3 consoles ever. But that really started my just sort of, I wouldn't say obsession with gaming, but that's where I knew that, like, hey man, this is probably something that I'm going to do for, if not the rest of my life, for a good long time. And at that time, you know, a lot of adults, your dad might sit down and play a game with you, or your mom, but adults really looked at gaming as just like a kid's activity, and didn't really like that. But from the Genesis, I felt like a traitor just a year later and got a Super Nintendo for Christmas. And that had a ton of fantastic games, just that Mode 7, things like F-Zero, Super Mario World, Super Punch-Out. Street Fighter 2 Turbo was one that my brother and I put hours and hours and hours of playtime in. WWF games, loved wrestling at that time and played a lot of that. And then it really just kind of went from there. And I just kind of had the normal console progression from there. From the Super Nintendo, I got a PlayStation 1. Then, of course, you've got the Saturn era, which at that time, believe it or not, I was not as high on the Saturn as I was the PlayStation 1. But that's because more of my friends had the PlayStation than the Saturn. My extreme love for the Saturn came later. But that was an era where I did not have an N64 at that time, so I didn't get one of those until later. Then I went on to the GameCube and the Dreamcast and the Xbox, PlayStation 2. And then here we are today. I don't want to bore everybody, but I will say that I have owned, or, you know, owned in the past at some point, most of the consoles that are well known. With the exception of the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine, and the Neo Geo, of course, which not very many kids have that. But honestly, like I said, I've had a pretty, I did not have a Jaguar, actually, but that was like super rare. I think I probably knew more people that had a Neo Geo than a Jaguar, honestly.
Yeah.
It still is.
That was just never a big thing where I lived. But yeah, I mean, it's I've had every PlayStation ever made, every Xbox ever made, and most Nintendos. The only Nintendo generation that I completely skipped and never owned was the Wii U, and I don't think I'm alone in that.
Same here. Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
not.
That was the only one that I really skipped, and I would like to have one, but it's just not high on my priority list. There's some other stuff. I'm really looking for like a TurboGrafx or PC Engine to fill that void, because I love those games. I've got the Mini, which definitely scratches that itch to a certain degree, but there's still games missing. And of course, I emulate. I know that's a bad word for some people, but I have played some of the missing games off of that Mini. I do like to play on original hardware when I can. But that's not always possible. And the wonders of technology can sometimes make up for that. But I do try to get hardware, and I do try to get original games where I can, especially for like the Dreamcast, which is one of my absolute favorite systems of all time.
We've talked about this.
Absolutely.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, that's a legendary console, which to me, some people argue it, some people agree 100% with me, but I think that the Dreamcast still holds up today. But from there, just to get into what type of games I like, I love arcade style games, which is why I have a love for Sega and the older Namco. Namco still does great work, Bandai Namco. But I've just always had a love for those pick up and play type games. I'm not one of these pro level gamers. There's a lot of genres that I play, but I'm not especially good at. Surprisingly, like Call of Duty, I absolutely love all of the Call of Duty campaigns, just about, even the ones that a lot of other people don't like. But I'm absolute just garbage at the multiplayer. I might have an occasional decent match, but my KD is going to hang around like 50% or less. It's going to be like 0.50 or less, but it's fun.
Then you're welcome in my squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the NLG.
Yeah, I'm not the best at multiplayer shooters, but first-person shooters and third-person shooters are absolutely like some of my favorite types of campaign games to play. But again, I really like a lot of different genres, and there are some genres which I just never got into. I'm not a huge role-playing game fan. That doesn't mean that I've never played them or never enjoyed them. It's just not like my go-to. I love arcade racers. That started with Outrun and games like Gale Racer, which that's what it was called in Japan, but it was Radmobile here. But games like that, Daytona USA, came later. But that type of genre just has morphed into modern games like Dirt 5, Cruisin' Blast, which came out on the Switch a little while ago. I just absolutely Grid Legends. I love arcade racing games, and I'm kind of sad because I feel like that's become more of a niche type game these days that a lot of people aren't as into as they used to be. But I love a pick up and play type game that might be easy to pick up but kind of hard to master. I love the challenge of really getting the handle on how a game, how an arcade racer wants you to drive the car to be good at it. But I like I said, I like a lot of different things. It's mostly these days, I like the action adventure type games, something like a God of War with very light RPG elements. And I would say in that case, it's very light, but that type of thing. As you get older, it's funny, in your 20s and 30s, you don't mind to sink 100, 200 hours in the game. But as you do get older and you have more family and work commitments, things like that, I like those experiences that I can have a really good time, but it's kind of like a 20 or 30 hour or less type time, where I don't feel like I have to sink my entire life into one game and just continue to have to go back and grind on that game. So, one thing we're going to talk about tonight is like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign. That's the type of things I like, is those bite-sized games that you can actually kind of play through in a few days. I know a lot of people don't like that because they don't feel like they get their money's worth. But again, as you get older, I'm not looking for as many of those 100, 200, 500-hour games. I just like that pick up and play and have fun, which is one reason why I love the Dreamcast. So I know that was kind of a Reader's Digest version, but I don't want to bore people to death. But, I like a little bit of everything. I've always tried to own all or as many of the consoles in every generation as I can, because I just like to experience everything. Not a big PC gamer yet, but I might be heading that direction for, the next few years. So that's really it. Like I said, arcade kid who grew up during, I think the cool thing is people like me and Myke at our age, we were there for kind of all of this from start to finish. Those really early consoles, even pre-2600, like ColecoVision and stuff, even before that, we were kind of there for that. And we've seen it where it's gone today. So it's been a really cool trip because, I remember all of it and remember exposure to all of it. My cousin had a ColecoVision, so I actually got to see and play that
Loved
as
my
well,
ColecoVision.
even, pre-NES. So it's been a fun trip, and I'm still excited about where it's going in the future. But I like to experience everything, and kind of miss the arcades, but we definitely have the arcade at home now, and really in a lot of ways even better. So
That's a great history, Charlie. And I love how you just nonchalantly said, Yeah, Mike and I, because of our age.
Well, a lot of people might look at that as a bad thing, but the cool thing is that we really got to live all of it, and that's not a dig at people that are younger, but a lot of the folks that we encounter on like Twitter and everything, they might have been around for like the 360 PS3 era, but I've even talked to a few people that were around just for like the PS4 Xbox One era and gaming, and it's like, man, yeah, I remember this at its infancy, the home console thing at its real infancy. As far as like, I know that there were you had your Pong consoles and your other kind of very basic consoles prior to that, but to be there at that like ColecoVision and 2600 time when you could play a bunch of different things and you started to get arcade ports that were not great necessarily in retrospect, but you knew what you were playing, things like Donkey Kong. It's like, well, yeah, this is a lot like Donkey Kong in the arcade, enough that it would pass, and a kid would be able to tell you, hey, this is Donkey Kong. It's just been really cool to kind of be there for all of it. And, there's maybe not a lot of us at this age that are still at it and still get really excited about it. So that's cool. Like I said, I don't look at that as a negative. It's never a negative when I say something like that. It's just we were there. We're like the OGs in a lot of ways.
Now you're here. You're among a bunch of old school gamers here.
Exactly.
So we've all been there.
Wow, how old are you guys? You guys sound ancient.
Who's the oldest one here?
Oh, I'm the oldest
Peter,
one.
I think is the oldest
Peter.
one here.
But yeah, I mean, we, what's funny is like me and Mike, Peter, we laugh at how each one of us started on something different. I mean, yes, I started on Pong and Atari 2600, but then after that it was NES for me. But like Mike is, more the Sega. And Peter, Peter, you started on the Coleco?
No. Well, that's the one that we got in the house, Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Yep.
But my first experience was like on an Apple 1/2 that my uncle had. So that was like way back when.
Yeah.
Way
So I mean, it's
back
like I told him, I love how to experience that and talk among gamers like y'all, and we all come from around the same time. And like you said, we've seen all this from the start and where it's at now. But just to hear everybody's different experience on, well, I started on this and that, like with their friends, GoGameGo, Papa Pete, DJC, especially though Papa Pete and DJC, you see their massive collection behind them. And you can sit there and just think of a game, any game back in the day, and they have it on their shelf pretty much. So it's just amazing seeing all that.
Oh, God, yeah.
The differences, Nick, Geeks with Cash, a lot of stuff that he does, and Master System of Soul, doing the speed runs with what is it? California? Is it California?
Outrun.
Huh?
Outrun.
Oh, okay.
Outrun, yeah.
I'm old. I'm having a brain fart.
You're old and you're
But
Nintendo.
just seeing all that, no, but this community there's a lot of us here. But you're right though. We also do interact with a lot of younger gamers that didn't, grow up with that like we did. So
The funny thing is, like you said, we grew up from the start of basically video games, but at the same time, we also grew up at the beginning of the internet. We were most of us were teens, if not almost adults at that time when the internet came about.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got our information from magazines.
Yeah.
Box art played a huge. I heard a discussion about that today about how important box art was in buying a game, because sometimes that's all you had to go by. What was on the outside of that box.
It was on the Atari.
Manuals in your box.
Yeah.
Case.
So yeah, I mean that's it. It's just cool to be, and I've actually talked to my wife about that so many times because she's not really a gamer. I mean, she will play some games, but it's not ever been her thing, But I just talked to her about it. It's just been so cool to be there at sort of the infancy of modern console gaming, just to see where it's at now. And I can still remember how it felt when I got that first Nintendo. I remember Christmas morning opening up that Atari, and some of the memories of stuff that happened when I was a kid are just long gone, but I can remember when I got all these consoles and just that feeling when you went and got a new game. And I wasn't one of those kids who got a new game every week or two. I would get a game maybe on a very special occasion or on a birthday or Christmas, and so it was important to get a good game or one you really, really wanted, because you didn't get just tons of games. And we had things like rentals, and some of that was being able to go to a buddy's house who had some different games than you, and you would swap those out on the weekends and things like that. So it's been a cool ride, and it's just been so neat in a lot of ways to see where it all started, but to not only see it, but to be there and live it and just experience it to where we are now, where if I want a game, hey, if I've got the money in the bank, I can have that game downloaded on my console in 5 or 10 minutes. And, I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to hope that it's in stock. So it's been a crazy trip, man, but it's just been so fun. And it's been a big part of my life. There were periods of my life, and I think maybe we can all say that, where gaming wasn't a priority, but it's always been there in the background, and it's always been a part of it. And even in those times when I wasn't gaming like I wanted to be, or maybe even should have, as somebody who's always loved it, it was still there and never totally went away. And I think that's a good sign that something is a good part of your life, is when it never really leaves, and it's always there waiting on you when you're ready to come back to it 100%.
Yeah. And when you get into PC gaming, I kind of recommend maybe building up a PC yourself. Get the research, talk to people, and put a list together. That's what I did with our brother, that SuPRCooPR, who helped me out with that, and got all the pieces, and then I just put it together, and that was great.
Yeah, that's the plan. Actually, I was talking to a friend this week about that, and I said, you know what, this next generation, I may go PC. I think we're starting to see those lines blur quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there yet, and I still really enjoy the consoles. And I've got because of the nostalgia, and because of, again, you guys just heard sort of my quick background, it's going to be hard not buying consoles, because that's always been sort of a fun thing, is like, hey, the new generation of consoles is out. And like I said, for me, I don't care which console it was, I was never 100% disappointed in any of the consoles that I ever got. I always had something on there that I loved and I have good memories with. So it's going to be hard to look at that new generation coming out and maybe not getting it. But like I said, at the same time, the lines are kind of starting to blur a little bit. And if one certain manufacturer starts doing day and date, which they're slowly creeping towards that, I think that it'll make more sense just to have a decent PC and do it that way. And then you've got one machine that essentially runs everything, except for Nintendo, which I'll probably always buy whatever Nintendo puts out.
Yeah, they'll probably never. Yeah.
Never say never.
Never say never, but they'll probably.
But it wouldn't be. Yeah, I would not be surprised if it eventually happens.
Yeah.
I well, remember who we're talking about.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that. But Chris is right. We all come from that background, and that's what, I tend to think it makes us seasoned more than anything else, right? So I tend to think that it makes us better gamers in some ways, in that maybe not better gamers, but maybe more experienced gamers, right?
I think so.
Hang on a second. Let me double check something on our stream. I'm pretty sure I had set up subscriber only. I did. So we should not see too much of that nonsense today. So we were, It was right. It's 10:25. We finally get to our first topic, but Charlie, it's great. One of the things that we love about having people on and people from the community, we really like the fact that people get to give their life story, and I love listening to that stuff. I like hearing other people's stories.
Well, there were obviously things that I didn't want to take up the whole time, because I was only half kidding when I said pull up a chair for the 3 hours, because there were generations and consoles that obviously I put more time and effort into than others. But yeah, I'm like you, Mike. I could listen to people's stories about that stuff, because when it's your hobby and when you're really invested into it, sort of emotionally and especially financially, it's always cool to hear kind of what direction people came from. There were kids that didn't have an NES, but they had a Master System, and you know what? They loved that Master System. And even though I didn't own one, my immediate next door neighbors had a Master System. So guess what? I got to play some of those games and experience that. So, that was a lot more common back then for somebody to only have one or the other. But yeah, it's always cool and fascinating to kind of hear everybody's background. So, I love that myself and love sharing mine, even though it's probably not the most interesting. But yeah, it was great to be there for all of that. And I still remember so much of it just so clearly. So.
Cool. All right, so let me pull up, because I want to get to one sec, because while we're going to talk about it, Peter did stream. Why didn't they show up in the... All right, hold on. Here we go. And yes, Master System Marcel. He first said, did I hear Commodore 64?
Yes, indeed.
And then he heard Master System. And that's sometimes all you need. So, all right. Let me pull this up. Let me get this thing loaded so we can talk about the next topic. That way we'll get ourselves moving. All right, Peter, have at it.
Next topic, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Not the original 2, the remake 2.
No, the new 2.
The 2 new.
The 2.0 2.
Yes. 2.0. Well,
Bigger, faster, stronger.
Well, technically, wouldn't it be 2.1?
Yeah.
Good catch there, Mike.
I'm just grasping at straws at this point. All right, hang on. Let me, here we go. So, Charlie, Peter, you guys got a chance to play the campaign. Where'd Chris go?
He's checking out a campaign.
Aha.
Yeah, he's probably playing Modern Warfare 2.
Gotcha. I have not, because I have not played a Call of Duty in a while. I have a, I don't know. I've been waiting for Call of Duty to really. I know they have to focus on multiplayer, right? I know that's the thing. I know that's the big draw. It's what everything revolves around. But man, back in the day, Call of Duty was strictly all about the campaign and all about the story. And I miss that. And I miss that first-person shooters don't pay that big attention to the story that they used to, because, well, it's all about the multiplayer dollar. But
the multiplayer isn't so good, though.
But yeah, I'm not saying it's not. But you know me, I'm not a PvP guy. So
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, but the campaign is not PvP.
Chuck, no one ever liked it. Packland was my Call of Duty. No.
What's that, BGC?
What's up, Chuck? So, gentlemen, you've had a chance to put your hands on this early because it comes out Thursday, right?
I believe so. Yes.
All right.
Friday.
That or Friday?
I think it's
Friday.
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 I think it's Friday. Yeah.
I believe it's Friday.
All
I
right.
think you're right.
So,
But Peter got to play it already because he's an influencer, right, Peter?
Oh yeah.
that's right. He's an influencer.
Yeah, we influenced that payment to get it and play it a week early.
There you go.
All right. So, go ahead and give us, Charlie, you're our guest. You could give us the scoop from your side, like your first impressions of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign. Let me put it this way: between you and Peter, it would be a game that I would have to buy since it's not in Game Pass. Sell me on it and go.
Well, I feel like I've been talking enough already, but I will make my initial argument brief so that Peter can have a chance to work his magic on you. I will say, though, that a lot like you, in years past, I have not been super focused on the PvP and the multiplayer. I started playing the original Call of Duty games, again, which were, it was focused on the story and the single player. So I'm kind of with you on that. And I do know that there were some, I didn't like Advanced Warfare. There were a few titles that I didn't really like. I will say playing this one, I did come in somewhat tainted, always having sort of had a love for the series overall. But I will say from a standpoint of story, graphics, gunplay, and just overall flow of the game, with maybe one level exception, which I personally liked, but I've seen a lot of people complaining about.
Is that the one that I ended with the other day?
Maybe
after the sniper
yeah.
session.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ruin it for people. But I will say, and Peter might have a totally different take on it. I would say that I don't regret. I paid full price for the game. I bought the Series X version. I don't regret purchasing it. Like I said, the story for the most part flows just beautifully. In some ways, you're kind of on the next level before you even expect to be, because it just kind of flows that tight. Cutscenes are beautiful. Absolutely looks like a next gen game to me.
Well, and that's like kind of like a hybrid, right, between like real actors, and then it goes into kind of like.
I mean, there are real actors in it. The guy who plays General Shepard is a real actor. I'm sure all of them are.
Who is that, by the way?
It's just some are more recognizable than others, but it's moving into that almost. I said almost, but it's almost that uncanny valley territory, because it is so good looking as far as the fine texturing and detailing. I played most of it. I did play some of it on my Series S, but I played a lot of it on my LG C1 on my Series X. And I will say that even in 120 frame per second mode, it looked fantastic. It looked absolutely gorgeous. The Amsterdam level that you've heard a lot of people talking about, it looks fantastic. I mean, the street level detail, the colors.
And that's one of my complaints is like, you're doing that mission and it kind of like, telling you to hurry up. And it's like, I want to do some sightseeing because there's so much detail in there. It's ridiculous. And I don't know if you have seen those video comparison with like real life footage.
I did.
And it's like 1-for-1 match minus a bunch of bikes.
Yeah. And something that I would say you don't hear a lot about a Call of Duty game. A lot of people buy it. It's one of those games that everybody says they hate, but they still buy it. It's an impressive game. I was genuinely, I mean, seriously, like I said, my wife's not a gamer, but there were so many times when she would be in the next room and I'm sitting there in the living room playing it on the LG. And I would pause it and say, hey, come look at this. You know, the Amsterdam level is one of those, but then like the water effects that are on the next level. I mean, it's just an impressive looking game. And I'm sure that, yes, a lot of people are sitting here saying, oh, well, this game looks better. I know of a game that looks even better than that. But, you know, really from start to finish, just the environments and the effects, like there are several levels where you're in the water or near the water. The way the guns feel when they fire, you almost, you know, like that recoil seems realistic. I'm a hunter and have spent time at the shooting range quite a bit. And it's like there's a lot of things that they really put time and effort into, and it kind of shows. I like Call of Duty Vanguard as well, and Cold War. I bought that day one, but this blows it out of the water. I mean, this is just the first time. Even before I got done with my first playthrough, I'm like, I'm playing this again as soon as I'm done. You know, I'm going back through this game again on a different difficulty as soon as I'm done, because I love this game. So Peter, I'll let you put your 2 cents in there, because I've definitely talked enough tonight. But yeah, I mean, I will honestly say, as a Call of Duty fan, I'm very satisfied with it. And my personal rating for it would be 9 out of 10. And that's just right off the top. I'll say that it's
a 9 out of 10
easy for me. Absolutely. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my impression was like it's an awesome looking game, plays really well, and in my opinion, there are no bad Call of Duty campaigns. Some of them are more enjoyable than others, but they are not. Just in my opinion, it was never a bad one. And this one, I mean, it's like what I said earlier. The Amsterdam level is like, it was almost jaw dropping. It's so gorgeous, and it's like, you know, the activity that was going on and stuff. And it's too bad I could not just sightsee a little longer, because that was like fantastic. I kind of got frustrated at times a little bit, because it was not clear what to do. Like that one mission where you're in the in that gunship.
Yes.
And they give you some hints, and it's like you have no idea what to do. It's like, what the heck? And then, so I failed a lot without saying, like, I don't know what I did wrong. So, well, frustrating at times, but and
I would say, Peter, I don't know if you agree with this. It sounds like you might. I felt like even on standard difficulty, this was a little bit harder than most Call of Duty games.
Yes.
I feel like there's always been some
I played it on
spikes.
regular. Yeah, I played it on the regular difficulty, and that gunship. Like, what am I doing wrong? What am I supposed to do? Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
And I felt like it did have those moments where some levels it seemed like, you know, I breezed through it and got a couple of achievements with no issue, and then some I was maybe a little frustrated. I never felt like it was too hard, but I will say that I think overall, when you take everything on the whole, I think that it's definitely a little bit tougher than some past campaigns.
Yeah, I definitely want to go through it in veteran, but I don't know if I can make it. There's also like that after that, there's a very cool sniper mission, and then after that, or towards the end of it, there's kind of like a resource gathering section, and that's like really very frustrating, and that's where I stopped, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. That's like, ugh.
Well, it's not, I will say, to keep going, it's not, you're closer than you think to the end all the time. I know that sounds kind of weird, but the levels aren't especially long. There's one level that I think really seems long because it is mostly resource gathering. And that's the one that I've seen people complain about the most, because it is so different from all the other levels. But you kind of touched on it just a little bit with what you were saying, Peter. This game has such variety in locations and levels, which most of them have a little bit of that. But man, you're like in one location and type of setting, and then the next mission you might be in something just totally different. You know, you're like a completely different character playing something totally different. And the way it just kind of seamlessly blends into that is just so cool to me. And it's just got elements. Like I said, you've got resource gathering, you've got sniping, you've got just straight up action, old school Call of Duty, where you're just guns blazing, going crazy. You've got vehicle stages. It's just such a huge variety of everything, but it just flows together to me really well.
Yeah.
Now, is this the entire? Do you guys get the entire campaign?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 17 levels total, 17 missions.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm at the sniper level. I don't know what level that is, and I don't know how many more there are. But
you got a little ways to go. But like I said, it's not. There are some levels that are literally like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And then you've got some levels that might take you, if you really take your time and try to get through it, or you have the inevitable deaths. Because like I said, it isn't. Every level is not super easy. There's might be some levels that are like 45 minutes. So it's a little bit of everything.
Is this a sequel to original Modern Warfare 2, or is this like a
no, it's standalone. I mean, you have the same characters and stuff, but it's
right. It will have some tie-ins. I don't think you're there yet, Peter, so I'm not going to spoil anything. It'll have some tie-ins to 2019, but it's not like a direct. It doesn't feel like it's a direct sequel to that. You know what I'm saying? It's not. If you got to the end of Modern Warfare 2019, some of the things that they mention will come into play in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really. I think it's still in a way its own standalone thing, so to speak.
Yeah, of course, I remember playing the first, like Marcel was talking about, Medal of Honor when those came out, and then playing the the Call of Duty, first Modern Warfare and Battlefront, not Battle. Yeah, right, Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
Playing those back in the day, and my main thing was playing the campaigns. I love these campaigns like this.
Yeah.
I always played those first, and then I jump into multiplayer with friends.
And that's why I'm glad that with this game that they, when you pre-order, you get to play the campaign first. So you have all the time in the world, and then once multiplayer hits, you can play that day one with everybody else. So you're not like a week behind.
Yeah, and it's a great. I mean, you could play through the campaign 2 or 3 times if you wanted to and wanted to devote the time to it. But I'll put it this way. Again, being grown and having the family commitments, I can't always just sit for 5 and 6 hours. I mean, there were times in the past where I would get a Medal of Honor or Call of Duty campaign, and I would finish it in one sitting, no joke. I didn't do that with this one, but I will say that I put well over 20 hours into it. And some of that was going back and trying to get specific achievements, things like that, after I finished it the first time. But it's that good. I'm sure people will disagree. I'm sure there are people who don't like it. But this is the best one that I've played in a long time, a very long time. And, I'm actually excited about it. Like I said, this is one of those purchases that even though I paid full price for it, I don't regret it at all. And even if all I could play was the campaign, I would still be happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Charlie, did you play on Xbox or PlayStation?
I played just only on Xbox. I've got a Series X and Series S. I do have a PlayStation 5, but most of my friends that play any kind of multiplayer or anything are on Xbox. So usually when I have a game that's got a multiplayer component, I'll just go ahead and get it on Xbox.
Yeah.
Plus with Xbox, you have that seamless room-to-room transition, which you kind of do with PlayStation also. But having that tiny little Series S in my bedroom, and I could just walk from one room to the other and not lose a minute.
Yeah, I love that.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, from what I've seen, this one looks real good. And some of the stuff I heard about the multiplayer, I'm kind of intrigued, and I wouldn't mind, even though I suck at multiplayer too, but I wouldn't mind jumping in with some of the guys here.
Well, you can definitely jump in with me because I'm not good. And if you want to look good and feel good about yourself, then just play with me because I'm definitely.
You look good, so.
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm passable at like Halo multiplayer, but I would say only passable. I still get waxed quite a bit. But like I said, I played the beta of this Modern Warfare 2. I played the beta multiplayer, and it was really good also. I mean, yeah, there were some bugs and things that people ran into. But the campaign, it really does. I don't know what Peter saw in what he's played, but I didn't really run into anything that was, I mean, it just feels like a really polished game, and one that they put effort and time into. I mean, it really does. I know that these studios get a lot of heat sometimes, but it felt like a polished experience, and it felt like it was just ready to go from day one. And I'm sure people ran across some things, but I didn't. I might have seen one or two small graphical glitches, like a gun barrel kind of through the wall or something, but it was not anything, I never had any like game breaking type bugs or anything like that I ran into. It was really smooth. And again, on my 4K TV, and that's not a flex, I'm just saying on 4K at 120, well, it wasn't 4K 120, but on a nicer TV using 120 frames per second, it looked really, really good. I believe it's 1440 on 120 frames, but man, it looked good. Even on less than 4K, it looked fantastic.
Yeah, and also the physics and stuff, like the mission on that big ship with those containers that are moving left and right. It's weighing off that ship. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
This one was done by Treyarch or Sledgehammer?
It's Infinity Ward, actually.
Yeah, this was Infinity's.
Okay. So there's three of them, right? Those two, and then Infinity.
Didn't they all? I mean, that's the main one. But then didn't they all contribute?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they all help each other on it.
Helps out.
Well, and who's left at Infinity Ward? That's the thing. Because they're all at Respawn.
So. Yeah.
Well, whoever's left and worked on this, to me, they put out a pretty polished experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching Peter stream this, and I agree. I mean, it looks great. Like this scene here looks really cool.
It's like you're playing a movie.
Yeah.
An interactive movie. It's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If the action is good, I go back and forth with whether or not I'm played out on modern versus World War II, but I kind of get it. People want the new. I heard a lot of people complain, "Oh, this better not be another World War II game. Better not be another World War II game."
I love the World War II one. That's really
too.
my favorite. My favorite Call of Duty era, I think.
Let's go back to 1700s and go back to the muskets.
No. I mean, they did World War One as well.
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying. Hold on, it's funny how people just forget about all this stuff, and it's like they always want to complain. Well, where else are you going to go? Because it's either we don't want to go back to World War II. We had Vietnam. We had all these other ones.
They haven't done Vietnam.
Not in any great. I was actually about to say that we haven't done that. There were some games on the original Xbox which were set in Vietnam, but they were never big hits.
And the one that I remember started with an S.
Shell Shock.
Shell Shock. I thought that was a great game.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of Call of Duties, they had some parts in Vietnam.
They did. Cold War had a couple of Vietnam levels, which were really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they even pulled the alternate history stuff, and people complained about everything because it's either the same old Me Too, or it's too far fetched for them. So either way, we're gonna have people complaining regardless.
Yeah, it's either they complain about it being the same, or like it's not the same enough.
Right. Yeah. And I think what you can do with a game like this is you can have it relevant. And if you're into sort of like military, I've always been into military history, and that kind of includes like modern military. I guess you wouldn't even call it history, but just, I kind of understand what the current technology and stuff is. So what you can do with this kind of thing is you can have it sort of relevant to today, but you don't necessarily have to name specific state actors. You don't have to name specific countries necessarily. you don't have to make it an actual conflict. You can use locations and everybody kind of has an idea of where you're at, but you don't have to necessarily point a finger and say, well, this is this terrible country, or this is the country we all love to hate. If you're, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. And it can still be sort of relevant, and you can still weave that story and make it feel like, okay, this is a possibility of the kind of mission that you would have to have if you were trying to infiltrate, a place in this country, something like that. So I think that that's what you can do with the modern setting. Whereas World War II, you can still have, sort of alternate history in different locations, but you're still in a way kind of bound to what really happened. You still have sort of a framework you have to work within. So in a way, I think that's why the modern warfare thing kind of works, because you can have all the gadgets and weapons and cool ways of entry. You're on ropes, or you're, jumping out of a helicopter or an airplane or something like that. But in a way, it can be like a fictitious, country that you're having to deal with or something. So that's just the way I see it. But, like you said, Peter, I still love the World War II stuff. I mean, I thought that Call of Duty World War II and Vanguard both were great.
Mhm.
That's just me.
Yeah. I like the futuristic one. What was someone called?
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, Advanced Warfare. I think
I could not get into that one
it was
personally.
pretty good too. I mean, not my favorite, but still, I mean, it was still very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think I need to give that one another chance, because I was actually reading an article not too long ago about it. And I think maybe I just judged it a little too harshly when I played it. But that's one that I might actually go back to and play again, just because maybe, I don't know, I think I had a bias going into playing that one, and so I just didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
But
I
this
think
one
that
definitely
happened with a lot of people, because
Yeah,
people I have gone back to these games and said, you know what, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, or assumed.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's like Rise, Son of Rome. I mean, I've loved that game
Oh yeah.
from the get-go, but I've seen a lot of people even lately posting like gameplay on their timeline and everything, talking about how great it is, and I was like, it was always great.
It was right.
Yeah.
Where were you people?
It just got a bad rap for some reason from a few important people, and people just didn't really give it the chance that it deserved. But that's always been a great game. So yeah, I think there's a lot of that.
So you still think that that this one is the hardest difficulty, or do you remember
No,
like Call of
World
Duty
War II was
3?
pretty tough.
World
Yeah,
War II? Yeah, Call of Duty 3. Do you remember that, like you played it on Veteran and it's like
yeah, it was
grenade
it
after
was,
grenade, and it's like
it
more
was
like
tough.
fingers crossed.
And I'll be honest with you, people might disagree. I thought World at War was pretty tough on the higher difficulties. It wasn't just a
Yeah.
cakewalk. It had some levels that were not easy until you kind of figured out every little thing you needed to do. But I don't know if this one is. I think it's maybe that the last couple of Call of Duties I've played before that weren't quite as tough. I don't
Yeah.
think Vanguard was very hard.
No,
and
that
Vanguard
was
felt really
pretty
short.
doable.
Yeah, Vanguard felt really short to me.
Except the airplane mission, though, I think, where you had to shoot them out of the air. Was that?
Yeah.
That was a
But no,
little.
this one, I mean, I think it's the right length. I wouldn't have been unhappy if maybe it would have been 3 or 4 missions longer. But when it ended, I thought I kind of felt like, yeah, for a Call of Duty campaign, especially with the way they focus on the multiplayer now, I thought this was about right. It's a game that you could probably do in 5 or 6 hours, but if you want to take your time and try to get some achievements and things like that, I think that you could do it. You could also put 15 or 20 hours into it. So
Yeah.
I will say what
It's probably most of them if you just, run and gun and do it as quickly as possible, especially if you play like on easy or on the
well, that's the
easiest
way that I
mode,
used to
then
do it back in the day. And I would play through them 2 or 3 times, and I would usually up that difficulty on the second or third playthrough. And that's, after you already kind of know what's coming, it's
Yeah.
better if you want to get through it on those higher, like veteran difficulties. But, this one, like I said, on standard, it's got some tough moments, and there's probably people that would laugh at that, but I'm in my mid 40s and I don't have the reflexes that I did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So you got to take that into consideration. But yeah, it definitely has a few difficulty spikes, but I wouldn't want that to turn anybody off because it's never something that you can't get through. You know, I feel like it's something that once you kind of take a look at it and say, like, okay, maybe I should approach this way.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a couple of levels that they take a little bit of time and they take a little bit of patience, and you're probably not going to get it on your first run. But at the same time, I mean, I think the other levels that aren't like that more than make up for any kind of slow moments. So yeah, like I said, it's a 9 out of 10 for me, easy. And yes, I'm biased because I've always had a soft spot for Call of Duty, but you know, I enjoyed Cold War, but when I finished it, it was more or less like, yeah, that was fun, and then I just kind of moved on. This one is one that I kind of keep thinking about and keep wanting to go back to a little bit. And you know, there's certain levels that I just really want to go back and play again because they were so much fun and just had so much, you know, that I enjoyed doing. So it's a thumbs up for me. I don't know about everybody else, but and I don't, you know, I can't tell anybody if it's worth $70 to them. I would say if you like the campaign and play multiplayer, then yeah, it's a no-brainer. If you're just a campaign guy, but you like Call of Duty, I would still recommend it. But only you can decide if it's worth that price of admission.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah, or just wait for holiday sale, or not that far off if you can wait.
Or wait till next year if Activision gets acquired and.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be on.
But
Game
I don't
Pass
think
anytime
this would.
soon.
I don't think so either. Not for a couple of years.
I mean, I bought Cold War right around the same time as I got my Series X originally, because that was the new Call of Duty that was out and it was cross-gen. And I'm like, hey, I want to see what this console can do. And like I said, I wasn't disappointed in it, but I would say it was just, to me, kind of an average Call of Duty. The Vietnam levels were really, really cool. It had another couple levels that I kind of enjoyed and thought were good. But like I said, when I was finished with it, I was kind of finished with it. I feel like this one's a definite step up from that, not only just like visually and then the things like the gunplay and everything else, but it's just, to me, the story flowed really well. I mean, you kind of had some elements of that, like betrayal and revenge and things like that. It introduced a couple of new characters. It brought back some old characters. It was just a really good mix, but it was just you know, Peter, you might agree or disagree, but I just felt like it was kind of a visual spectacle on some levels.
Mm-hmm.
And there were just moments, and I didn't expect this from a Call of Duty, but there were just moments where I was just like, wow, this looks really, really good. And I got like a game clip of it and just showed people, because I was like, look how good this looks. I mean, like, look at, you know, what they've done with this. And, you know, I don't know. It's hard for me not to recommend it. You know, again, I know it's one of those games. It's kind of like the Maddens and things, the NBA 2Ks, that a lot of people love them, but a lot of people also don't love it. I would just say if you've at any point liked Call of Duty, or you currently like Call of Duty, but you're on the fence and you've got the money and it's not going to hurt you to spend it, I would recommend it. I would say that you're really going to enjoy a lot of the levels and a lot of the stuff that's in there. You know, like Peter said, you've got sniping, you've got just all out action where you're just going to be emptying your gun the whole time. You've got driving, you've got stealth, you've got, you know, executions type stuff. And I'm not saying I enjoy that, but there's just elements of a little bit of everything in there. And it's a really enjoyable game.
I think the biggest issue that I had was, and I said it earlier, was just I feel like these games have foregone, which is why I'm glad to hear you guys talk about the campaign like this, because I feel like they've, you know, in many ways, a lot of these FPSs gave way to the multiplayer and put the campaign on, just basically threw it to the side, gave it the most minimal possible attention. Sometimes even just throwing something out there to throw something out there, and that's what drove me away from it more than anything. I wasn't the biggest fan of Titanfall 2's multiplayer, right? So take a game like that. But what drew me into playing the multiplayer was I played through the campaign, and it was one of the best campaigns in the last, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 years of FPSs, and that's saying a lot. And that's
it's sublime. Titanfall 2 is a perfect first-person shooter. It's perfect.
And I don't understand. So what you guys are telling me.
But if you like Devon, then you would also like the I can never remember the title. That modern Call of Duty campaign.
Advanced Warfare.
The Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, didn't that one have there was a battle out in space?
Mm-hmm.
And it had the actor from Game of Thrones, Jon Snow.
Yeah, Kit Harington.
Yeah. I know Scepter, said he wished that they would sell the campaign separately. And I kind of agree, because if they did, I would buy the campaign right away. And then playing the campaign, maybe it would get me into the mode where, you know what, I like this. Let me play some multiplayer. And maybe if once Xbox acquires, maybe that'll be a thing going forward where they'll sell you the campaign.
Maybe they throw the rest
and
multiplayer as like Warzone.
Yeah, I mean, they might just do that. Who knows?
That would be the way to go. I mean, Halos is doing the same thing. Where
it is like you can just download the campaign and play the campaign for Halo. And I've thought about that quite a bit, and I kind of advocate for that, because somebody like me, now I have a few people that are into that and like to play the multiplayer, so I'll jump in and play even though I'm terrible. But for a long time, I was a lot like Myke was saying. It was basically about that campaign, and then I would move on. But I don't want to sell this short. I don't want to convince someone to buy it and them not like it. But I would say look at the majority of the reviews, and really, to me, look at what the people that play the multiplayer are saying. Because if the multiplayer guys are liking the campaign, to me, that's a really good sign. Because in the past, I know guys that have hated the campaign or not even bothered to play it, but they spent a lot of time on the multiplayer. But I'm seeing a lot of guys that are really, really into the multiplayer talking about how much they've enjoyed the campaign. And to me, that's kind of a sign.
That kind of speaks volumes.
Because the campaign is released early.
Well,
or before the multiplayer. So, people really want to play the multiplayer. They pre-ordered it already.
But they've already played the beta as well. So, I mean, they
played the beta already. Yeah.
Right. So, to me, if they're looking at that campaign and saying, this is really good. But, again, it's a visual. I'm not going to say anything like masterpiece, but it looks really, really good. It looks next generation, especially if you're playing on the newer hardware. I do know somebody that's playing it on PS5, and they said the same thing. It looks fantastic. It's, if you've got a 4K TV, that'll also, or if you got like a 1440 monitor, man, it's definitely got some impressive artwork and graphical detail. It's good, on that front, if you're one of those people that likes that. But also, to me, as a Call of Duty and sort of like military shooter fan, it's got a little bit of everything. It's not super duper short, but it's not overly long. So it kind of falls into that. Like, my only gripe about Titanfall 2 was that it was a little short. That was one of those games where it was over. I was like, oh, it's over. Like, dang, I want to keep playing this, I didn't really get that vibe, but I did want to play through it again. And to me, like I said, with more limited time and having so many other games to play right now, the fact that I want to play it again pretty soon, pretty quick, to me, that says a lot as to how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I recommend it. Graphically impressive, lots of action, good story, known characters. If you've ever played any of them, you're going to recognize almost all the characters. Some people come back that haven't been in games recently. And then it has some throwbacks to like the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign. So that's about all I have to say on it, but it's highly recommended, really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I'm there with you, and I agree. Like I've from what I've seen and hearing from you and Peter, I really want to play the campaign. So paying the full price wouldn't bother me, because I played the campaigns in the past. I always enjoyed Call of Duty campaigns, and may jump into multiplayer once in a while, and I'm okay with that, So yeah, I mean, I recommend too that, if you never really played these before, maybe wait for a sale.
Right.
But if you enjoy these Call of Duty games, campaigns, and so on, yeah, I could see, like you say, really enjoying this, and maybe playing it again to, just to challenge yourself.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think if you ever had a love for Call of Duty, and you kind of know what you're getting with a Call of Duty campaign,
yeah,
in ways it is more of the same, but better.
Yeah,
that's how I would put it. Right.
Well,
if you're brand new to it, I still
think
think you would be impressed by like the visual spectacle and by all of the different variety that's in it. But like you said, it might be something, if you don't really know, yeah, you might want to wait for it to drop $10 or $20 on Black Friday or around Christmas time. But again, I've paid just as much or more for less enjoyment. That's how I'll put it.
Yeah, yeah. And like Myke said, was it the Call of Duty before Vanguard where they didn't come out with the campaign? Was that the year that they skipped the campaign at first? And so there was that concern where, are they not taking it seriously, as far as campaign, or they're just going to do away with that going forward? But since then, they seem to, kind of put an emphasis on, the campaign is important to them. And
right.
I mean, it will be interesting, which I do believe that Activision will get acquired. And what Xbox does with these three studios, like, allowing them to maybe do a Call of Duty every other year, and then allowing them to do a new IP on something else they want, and to see the talent, what they've done with this, put into a new IP. I've even thought of too, like, maybe having one of these teams take over even the multiplayer for Halo and let them manage it. I mean, the experience that these three studios have with the multiplayer with Call of Duty every year, I'm sure that would help transfer over into Halo multiplayer. If that's what they're going to do, free to play, right? Who knows? But
I mean, if you think about it,
to have that experience, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, if you think about it, everybody having access to Call of Duty as a free to play would, I mean, they're going to make their money back. They're already making millions anyway, just on the added content, all the season passes, all the, the extra.
They made a lot of money on mobile too.
Yeah.
Well, mobile is, mobile is where it's at.
Yeah.
Mobile is where it's going.
That's the young generation. They prefer to play mobile.
Oh, you look at how many kids. I mean, years ago, kids were, with touchscreen looking at and trying to play a Nintendo Game Boy, and like it's not working, trying to touch the screen. So yeah, that's where it's going. Everything's going that way. It's been going that way. It's just like everything's been going digital. People don't see it, and they want their physical stuff. But it's like, look, if you've got people hacking, you got people pirating, you have all this other stuff where you have to print up the media to push it out there. So that's extra money that's pulling out of your bank that you got to pay for. Why do you think they stopped doing books? Why do you think they stopped doing physical media as much as possible? The only way they do that is to save face and be, hey, look, we still have it out there. But they're not pushing it out there like they are because digital saves them space, money, everything.
Easy to update.
Yeah.
Very.
Same with books too. I mean, it's easy to,
And at least right now, they're making just as much on digital as they are physical. They're actually losing money on physical because of the overhead and the actual, you know, product itself, and we're paying the same price for a digital game. So
distribution
that's the way.
Yeah, and distribution is so much easier when it's digital. I could be anywhere and buy the game, and if I have a way to play it with me, I can play it right then and there. Otherwise, I have to wait to go home. But I can buy it online and have it immediately with the as long as you're playing via the cloud, it's immediate. And that's where today's society is. Everything from Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, all the news, we used to have to wait till 6:00 news, and CNN was the 24-hour channel that you would have to do your book reports on, and you would have to sit there and every hour it would go back over, You'd
have to wait at least 15 minutes until the next cycle hit.
Yeah,
right?
the headline news. Yeah. So when you do that, but that was our immediate thing. Now it's even faster. Everything's now. That's why you see people on the phone, and years ago we used to kid around like they're talking to each other on the phone, but now you can't get people to look up, and it's not looking up because you're looking down at a shirt. You're looking down on a screen.
Yeah.
And that's society.
Yeah.
And I saw Marcelo even brought up how Sony should be worried about losing Call of Duty, but and seeing this, the responses from people who have played the beta, you guys, that this one looks like it's going to be big, and it's going to be the #1 selling game this year, of course. But I don't think, and it should not, that I think Xbox and Microsoft will acquire. And I know Phil's come out and said that this will stay on PlayStation through 27.
2027, I think, is the contract.
Yeah, as far as the contract, but I don't think.
Well, it depends.
Well, they're going to honor the current contract that they have, right? But I think they're not going to take this off PlayStation. They're going to, leave it on there. But Sony, they are worried about. Okay, they may not be worried about. They don't think it's going to go exclusive only on the Xbox ecosystem. But they are definitely going to lose the marketing rights and all those things that they had, with Call of Duty going on PS4. Is that it helped them sell a lot of hardware. And I mean, this is the hugest game. I mean, it's huge. I mean, I know a lot of friends that I work with. All they ever talk about, they're like, what games do you play? Well, I play Call of Duty. That's all they ever do. Them and their friends. I mean, it is what it is. And Xbox, they do acquire Activision. They have every right to, have the marketing rights and, have an advantage on that, So I see Sony's concern on that, but going forward, this should still be on PlayStation, and I can see it being on the Nintendo Switch too. It's just huge.
And I think I was all on board that exclusive train when they first announced this attempted acquisition. But now, you know what? I don't mind so much. It's one of those games that sort of transcended exclusivity. Like you said, it's huge, and you could argue that every console maker's had a game that's huge like that. But if a lot more people can play, it's just really going to still be money in Microsoft's pocket if they do acquire it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, hey man, let everybody play Call of Duty and enjoy it. And if it's going to come to Game Pass day one, that works for me. You know.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm the most excited part about Microsoft's acquisitions is just Game Pass.
Yeah, I can
You know,
go back.
I don't care if it's exclusive or not, but you know,
Yeah.
if it's
Well, you'll be able
part
to
of
go back,
my
you know,
my subscription and I can play whatever I want.
Call of
right.
Duty
If you don't own
campaigns.
Advanced Warfare, you can go back and play it. You know,
Exactly,
it'll be there
yeah.
on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Jago comes in repping that physical. It's okay, you know. That's okay. You're never gonna
I
get
like
away
physical.
from
Yeah. I feel
Plastic,
that.
You're
plastic.
never
gear,
gonna get away from physical. So,
like
except if they
physical
should
on-
put games
Thing
on
is, it
50
makes-
gig ROM cards.
it meant more in the past because it had A, the full game on there, and B, it's like there were no such thing as patches and stuff.
You know, I
Yeah,
think
'cause
I'm kind of
buy what
weird
you get.
because I buy physical on certain systems almost exclusively, like the Switch.
Switch, yeah,
I would
me
say,
too.
yeah, about 90% of my collection. I've got a pretty decent. I've got most of the first party games, you know, plus some others, but I'd say it's about 90% physical. And then on PS5, I'm probably about
Look,
60,
sorry to interrupt, but
70%.
look how ridiculous this.
That really
Well, it
does. I'm
looks-
looking at it
Yeah,
right now.
it
Oh
does
my
look
god,
great. Yeah.
that is ridiculous looking. I mean, this is so. Remember what Watch Dogs was supposed to look like? That's what this looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
look like it's full of Vaseline.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
Mike,
what-
if
That's
this
what
level alone
Watch
doesn't
Dog. It's
sell
like,
you,
hey, give me ray tracing. And I was like, damn, man, I'm staring like in a mirror, like every surface.
Mike, if that level alone doesn't sell you on the visual upgrade that you're seeing, then maybe you should just wait for a sale. I don't know.
Yeah, that one
Well,
guy walking
because
through
that
that
Amsterdam
stop
level
sign.
is-
So
kinda threw me
remember-
off. That's it. I'm done.
Remember,
I'm done
as,
with this game.
as old a gamer as I am, Charlie, you know, I also I oh, silent takedown. Damn. Oh, you just
Yeah,
That was-
just put him down on the bench. You're
yeah.
benched. Okay.
Don't
And here's
dis-
a guy
don't-
just feeding the
you're
ducks
benched.
the bread.
You're right.
He's breaking
You're,
bread with ducks.
Hey, do not wake up my friend. He's dead tired. Um,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't get me. Look, and Nick and I have kind of had this discussion. Geeks with Cash. I as much as I get the visual piece. Visual pieces. I mean, this is beginning to get. Excuse me. This is beginning to get a bit more, photorealistic than we've ever gotten. But I also am a gameplay person. That's why I spent, half the week playing Atari VCS. So I get it, and all the ray tracing and all that stuff is all cool. But at the end of the day, I also need a game that is rock solid with gameplay and will keep my interest. So
I
That's-
feel like it's there, but I'm worried that you're not 100% sold on it. So I don't want you to go into it until like you're certain that you want to just like, I don't know how I'm trying to articulate that better. It's like I think you want to like it or give it a chance, but I still think
okay.
in the back of your mind you're worried about being being a little bit disappointed with it.
I want to give it a chance. I don't know if I want to give it a $70 chance. Or is this a $60 game?
It's a 70
I don't know if I want
for the
to.
cross.
Yeah.
I got it on sale at Neiman. He might have gotten $10 off.
Yeah, I hate to throw this in there, but I bought the thing, and I'm not kidding you. 10 minutes later, that was on Twitter that Newegg had it for $59.99. I'm not kidding you. 10 minutes.
Man.
Jago. First off, Jago says, "Hey everybody, I'm old and lazy and tired." He said, "Give me more 30 FPS games, please. Mainly to stir up crap on Twitter."
You know, I'm old, lazy, and tired too, but I don't get up to move another CD into the disc tray so I
That's
can
what I
play.
was about to
I'm
say.
Exactly,
that
because
lazy
I'm lazy.
that I would just switch the digital games over.
Right, because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But hey, look. My systems are also 12 feet away from where I play. So, however, all that said, I'm not downplaying how this looks. Because this like I said, this looks like the this looks like the game that Watch Dogs and to an extent even The Division, remember that. These are the games that Ubisoft wanted, pretended that these things looked like when they were still in conceptual. This is what this game looks like in motion. So I get that. I'm not saying it's not a great game. Is it $70 great for me? I'm wondering. I'm not saying no. I'm just wondering.
Well, I think for me, I plan on playing the multiplayer because, like I said, I've got some friends that are into that now, whereas a lot of the guys I played with before weren't so much. So for me, I think it was worth it knowing that even though I'm terrible, I'm never going to claim to be good at the multiplayer. I knew I would probably be playing a bit of that, for the next several months at least. So for me, I guess maybe that made it a little bit easier purchase because I did play the beta and because I was, playing some of the multiplayer with my friends. So I get that maybe it's not as easy a purchase for you. I'll just say in your case, definitely when you catch it on sale, I think on sale, even if you're not going to play the multiplayer, it's definitely worth the purchase.
All right, that's fair. That's a fair.
If you can get it for like $50 or less, and you're okay with that as far as like the cost, it's worth that, no question.
All right.
Just
Jago
my-
says he'll play this on Friday when it's released. He's picking up his physical copy then. Well, technically, Jago, it's released now because this is Peter playing it. This is Peter dying a lot here, but this is Peter playing it.
Yeah.
Hey, don't feel bad, Peter. It's not an easy game.
Well, down here it's like you shoot the person, and it's like don't shoot civilians. It's like that's the guy who's gonna shoot me.
It's not though. I did that like 3 or 4 times. Swing out to your left a little bit more. Swing wide so you can see. In fact, just wait on them because you know where they're coming from. Just step to the side and kind of wait, and it's easier to see them coming. But yeah, Mike, I'm kind of sad that I didn't sell you on it, but at the same time, I get it. If you know you're really not going to be into the multiplayer, I can see where maybe.
Well, I'm
that would be
definitely
a
not
tougher
going to be into the
purchase.
multiplayer. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, it also competes for your time too.
Right.
So
Yeah, and truthfully, I mean, if you said, now I was obviously interested in the game because I love this stuff and I felt like this was a really, really good Call of Duty. So I did kind of play it without really playing anything else in the meantime. So, when I first got it and it was available, I just immediately started playing it and kind of over the course of about 2 or 3 days, just played through it and finished it. So you're not going to get a super amount of sort of time value maybe for that price if you're not going to be doing multiplayer. So again, I get that and I feel that. To me, like I said, even if I've paid just as much for less value in the end, what I found to be less value in the end. But yeah, I totally get it, especially with as much as there is out there to play right now. I get it. So I'm not going to tell you to go drop 70 and say, like, if you don't get this, you're crazy and you're a moron, because you're not, it's, but if there is a sale over the holidays, if there's a sale on it over the holidays, it's worth it.
Yeah, and if it goes on sale, that's a. I mean, I'm watching this, and it's easy to see. And you said it's 17 levels of the campaign. How and Scepter asked this earlier. How long is this? So level wise, we know how many levels. How long is this campaign?
I've seen different things on it. I don't know what Peter's experience with it was. I put 20 hours into the campaign,
Okay.
but that is finishing it and then going back and playing specific levels once I went back and looked at maybe what achievements I might have missed. I think I probably finished it in maybe about, I want to say 11 or 12 hours. But now there are going to be guys that tell you they did it in 6, or 7. I think
It all
if you're
depends
sort
how
of
if you've rushed it or not.
right.
Just taking
And I
your
didn't
sweet
really
time and
rush.
you do your sightseeing and stuff.
Like the sniping level, Peter, I really took my time and got into position
Yeah.
to make sure that it was like the perfect position. So that mission might have taken 20 minutes for some people. It probably took like 40 or 45 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a level that's similar where you have to kind of get up on the rooftops and stuff. And after I went in one way and did it one way, I thought, no, maybe this is a better way to do it. So I kind of went back and, you know what I'm saying? So there was a little bit of that with me, but that's just kind of how I play. But I would say average would probably be anywhere between maybe 7 and 10 hours if you're just kind of going through and not worrying about achievements and things like that.
Okay.
And hours probably
I'm
being
not
the
an
high
Yeah,
end.
let's see. Like
I mean, I'm not an achievement hunter per se. I like getting them. I have a good night, brother Jago, and it really is okay if you're an old man physical guy. We still love you, brother. We still love you, because he's a
Love
Sega
it,
guy
Jago.
too. So, we excuse all the Sega guys.
That's right. You get an automatic pass.
You get an automatic pass. So, I keep watching this, and I watched this when Peter was streaming it, and I was really impressed. I mean, it does have some hallmarks of the old games. That's really all I'm looking for, and part of it is not. Part of it's being jaded by the previous Call of Duties. That's, it's fool me once, shame on me, right? Or I'm sorry,
Right.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 6
so what was
times.
the last one? What was the last one you played, Mike?
World at War? No, Black Ops.
Oh.
The first Black Ops. No, wait. Wait a minute. I'm looking at my.
Played Ghost.
I have Modern Warfare 2 on the original Xbox, so I have that one. And then I have
And you did play that
okay.
one.
So I did play Black Ops came after that because Black Ops was on the 360, and I had at the time I had a 3D TV, and that game actually used 3D my 3D glasses. So Black Ops was
So it has
actually
been
in
a good
3D.
while though since you played one.
It has.
And you didn't play the Modern Warfare redo in 2019.
I did not.
Okay.
What's
I
funny
think you
is
would
I
like
bought
this
it,
one.
but I haven't really played it.
2019.
Yeah.
Start there. I would say start there. It's not a super long campaign either. It's going to be very similar to what this is, only this is going to be a visual, sound, and set piece upgrade probably. I would say start there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this one, it's tough with Myke because it's been a while since he's really played one, and they have changed. I mean, they definitely sort of evolved. I think Peter would be able to speak to that too. They've definitely changed since maybe that era. You still have that core sort of formula there, but you've just sort of had the upgrades that kind of go along with that generational upgrade as well. So 2019 was a pretty good leap.
Yeah. Project Jeff might. I think he's right. I think I have my.
Yeah.
I think Modern Warfare 2 was Xbox 360 too. Because now that I'm picturing the box, I'm picturing it upstairs with my 360 collection, and I don't see it down here with my OGs. So.
Yeah, that was my true and last Call of Duty that I really played a lot, and I played a lot of multiplayer on that one.
See, I didn't play multiplayer for the longest time.
Yeah,
me either. I mean, there were whole generations where I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not on those
It's
games.
been a couple of years for you, right, Peter? Because I know you and Nate played the multiplayer together.
Yeah.
And then y'all kind of like, eh. So do you see you and Nate playing this multiplayer?
Yes, we both have it, or Nate will. He has it on order, so
Yeah.
we'll be playing.
Yeah, see, Peter's fired up.
I'm
Peter is
fired up.
That says a lot. He's
It
ready to
does.
go. He's ready for the 28th.
That says
Sounds
I
like
don't-
we need a Call of Duty stream.
You mean like the one that I'm playing here now?
No, team up.
Oh.
Midnight.
Team up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really want anybody to know how terribly horrible I am at multiplayer.
Don't worry, Peter and Nate.
And you know what's
Yeah,
hilarious?
I
is I'm
ran
not-
to rave a little. So.
even on harder difficulties, I'm
No.
not awful on the campaigns, but man, when I get up against live people, it's tragedy.
But you play it like Call of Duty. Run, gun, you die, you respawn, and go again.
Yeah, but there are people that put a lot of time and effort into being
Yeah,
good
they
at it.
do. They live within. their
Right.
role. That's all
Yep.
they do.
Yes.
All right,
indeed.
fellas. Well, I have exceeded my.
You
my
have.
time
I gotta
frame
give
here.
you. I gotta give you very much credit, man. You said you could only be here for an hour, and you were here for 2.
Right.
So,
well,
I gotta give
I
you-
let the family know that I was going to go as long as I could, but they're winding down, and like I said, I've got one that's not feeling well at all. So
and you gotta. No, absolutely.
I'm going to let the rest. But I do want to say I appreciate very much. Honored to be a guest tonight. Truly enjoy it. Enjoy the show, but I also enjoyed being a part of it tonight. So hopefully at some point down the road, I can join you guys again because it was fantastic conversation and discussion.
Oh, this is gonna happen.
Appreciate
Definitely, Charlie.
appreciate everybody in the chat as well, man. The chats are always awesome. I see a lot of the same faces, man, and these
Yeah,
folks that
Good people.
come through are just
Yeah.
fantastic. They're fantastic people.
These are the people that, these are the good people that make us what we are,
Absolutely.
and we
These
love
are the
our
brothers
gaming
and sisters
comments.
of the community, man, and it's just
Yes, indeed.
some people think it's silly when you call somebody brother, this or that, but I mean, hey, those of us that love this hobby and have spent time in it, man, and have so many of these just shared experiences, and even if we were in different areas or like different games, it is kind of like a brotherhood and sisterhood and just a community, man. So it's just so awesome to see the people that come out and just want to interact and everything. So that's one of the just most enjoyable parts of any of this.
Yeah, Charlie. I don't know if I was following you for a while, but I like Myke. First time I seen you and met, as far as backyard bastards, backlog bastards. So
Backyard
I do-
bastards. That's what Bushido calls it. Yeah.
But I do enjoy, listening to you on there, and you balance spooky out. So
Yeah, I have often said that I play the straight man on that show.
yeah.
If you're kind of into entertainment, I'm that guy that tries to offset the insanity of everybody else around me. So that's always been my role. But no, that's always Spooky's a great dude, and
He really is.
he's so full of energy, man, and just such a genuinely good person, man. And Bushido, he's all right too. So
Yeah, no, he's cool, and we're grateful to have you guys with the GUG, Spooky and Trinity joined the guild, so your family. So like
That's right.
we always say with all our guests, you're welcome here anytime you want.
Yep.
You just got to remind Myke, like Dreadpool. He was supposed
Yeah,
to be here,
'cause-
but got to remind the old gamer there.
Well,
Yeah.
Mike's always rubbing shoulders with all the big wigs like Tommy Tallarico, so he doesn't always have time for
Oh,
for
for
little
God's sake.
peons
Here we go.
like
Here
myself.
we
He's
go.
testing all those new systems.
Here we
No, I-
go.
totally
Here we
joking
go.
on that. But no, it was a super fun time, and I appreciate it, and I hope I do get to come back at some point.
Oh, you will.
Been listening to you guys for a few weeks, and it's always a good time, always enjoyable. So I appreciate you taking the time to let me on. Hope I didn't run off too many of your normal weekly listeners, but no, it's always a good time. This is not my forte, man. I'm not a public speaker or a great podcaster or anything. I just enjoy hanging out with folks and talking games. It's always fun. So
Well, that's what makes this show what it is that's all we do.
That's all it is.
So.
right.
So
Omega!
wait a second. Watching a couple weeks? How dare you?
No, I didn't say a couple of weeks. I said a few weeks.
Okay, so 3
There's a
weeks.
difference between a few and a couple. No. Hey, man, there's a lot of
No.
content out there. But no, met Myke through Spooky. And like he said, we have that Sega love in common. And when Spooky
We
had
do.
an interview with Myke, and I was sitting in a chat, I was like, please let me on the show, man, so I can talk to this guy, because this is my guy right here. This is my blood brother already. But yeah, it's like I said, man, just the shared experiences that people have, and that history that's there, man. It's always
what
a good
binds
time.
us.
Always good
It's what
conversation.
binds us.
Amen.
All right. Well, enjoyed it,
Well,
fellas.
have
I
a
won't take
great
up any
night,
more of you guys' time.
And
Keep it up. And like I said, man, I just appreciate the invite, and was honored to be on with you guys tonight.
No,
Yeah,
honor was ours.
That was a great time,
Thanks,
man.
Charlie.
Definitely
And
see you
thanks
on
again to
again.
the chat for putting up with me.
Ah,
Well, they got to
on.
put it with Dreadpool, so.
yes,
You're right.
I do.
Yeah, if they got to put up with me, they can deal with you, no problem.
You're right.
I don't believe that at all. All right, guys. Take care. I really
All
enjoyed
right,
it.
brother Charlie.
Yeah,
I take
All
care.
righty.
All right. Bye. Oh, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Depends on if Charlie is. Let me do this. Hang on. Hang on. I'm hearing there's no audio now. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I know why. I know why. Hang on a sec. Oh, what is application audio beta? All right, that's new. All right, audio input capture. Existing. I got to see. Hang on.
Back.
No, it's only me. Audio input capture 2. That's what I'm looking for. It's wait, is it back? No. Hang on. Audio input capture 2. That's what I want. Add that. And now you should be back.
Maybe
Okay.
you're
Testing.
There we
Testing.
go. So,
1, 2.
all right.
best eagle.
It's Skype. No, it's not. It's OBS. It's literally OBS, Sister Ventress. And Omega, how you doing, brother? Man, I was watching Omega and his last stream. He was streaming Castlevania DS, and I'd forgotten how good a game that looks. So he was back 10 seconds ago. I was, but not everybody else was, because OBS sucks. So, but I think I got it. I think I got it all working. It just, when I switched over, I hadn't messed with this scene in OBS. So I have the 3 to 5 person, which is this one. But since Charlie left, I'm just switching to 4, and voila. So, anyway, tis what it is. All right, so which way you guys want to go?
I'm here for the ride.
Such
All
a
right.
different bread.
Relic. Did I break the Amico? No. Stop asking me. Stop asking me if I broke it. I don't care which way you guys want to go. Peter, you're the topic guru.
I don't know. What do we have on gaming news of the week? What's the
All right.
news?
We got a bunch of
what's-
news. Actually, we got a bunch of stuff going on. So,
What news do we have?
Well, have you all, which I meant to ask Charlie and you guys in the chat, let me ask you all, did you all write your letters to the CMA telling them your feelings on the Activision-Blizzard acquisition? Because now they want
yeah.
they want your input. I'm serious. This has to be the worst shit show I have ever seen. I'm not kidding. This whole thing is just a debacle. I can't.
Yeah, normally you don't see stuff like this, especially big acquisitions, being out in the open in the public like that. Going back and forth between these two companies, and then seeing a regulator like CMA also saying shit on social media.
See, this is really unprecedented times when you look at it, because they have never done this stuff before. Everything was always in the back doors. Never was anything public until after the fact. You know, so I wrote my letter. I don't know about you guys, but I wrote my letter. I said, "Dear CMA, I wrote you a letter, but you still ain't listening. I left my cell, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. I sent 2 letters back in autumn, but you must not have got them. There probably was a problem at the post office or something. Sometimes I scribble addresses too sloppy when I just jot them. But anyways, F it. I've been up, man. How's your daughter? Oh, wait, wrong song."
All right, Eminem. Seriously,
So
I don't know what's left to say on this, honestly.
Well, we've seen some responses from some U.S. independent review, like I think one of them was the about tech, and so they had an input on it, kind of criticizing CMA. I think there was a couple. But other than that, I mean, it's just,
I just want this.
we'll see. I mean, I don't see Microsoft getting blocked from this, but
I don't know. I can't put a.
there's still a chance.
there's a chance. But
The chance is getting
very
bigger and bigger
unpredictable.
the longer this takes.
That's what I'm afraid of.
well, we don't know where the EU stands, and
But the EU has had a
Use-
past history with Internet Explorer being on Windows and saying that that's a monopoly, that's a forced thing. However, Xbox and Microsoft are now coming back saying, look, because they do have 2 issues right now. Their 2 issues is basically Apple's and Google stores are locked down, and they're gunning for them. So if they present that, hey, look, we're trying to go in there as a third store for gaming on phones, we can, be competitive in that market also. So it's not just being competitive against Sony or any of that
Yeah.
stuff. It's
Oh, yeah.
other things that they're going for, and cell phones is a market that they failed repeatedly. So for them, this would be a win. And yet again, they can even, they've even obliged with everything that they've had in the past, hence why they are where they are now. So there's, it's just, if someone has a hard on going after these tech companies to dismantle them like they are with Facebook, Google, like I said, Google right now is in spotlights. You saw what they did with Apple. They can't sell that Lightning port anymore. They no adapters. It has to be USB-C. That they're gunning for this stuff. So it just depends on. And we've seen it, with us, with the what's that guy's name? Taj Pot, whatever his name was, that did the net neutrality and nixed it, and everybody, couldn't do anything about it. So certain regulators are going to be doing their thing, thinking that they're hot, hot shit, whatever, and trying to do this stuff,
Yeah, but to Rab's point that he just made, the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council really kind of slammed the CMA after the whole Facebook Giphy thing, because they ruled that they shouldn't, that Facebook should not own Giphy. Facebook should, and so Facebook sold it, and they sold it off because really there was no recourse for them in the UK. So the SBE said that they really need to stop overreaching and making rulings on US based companies.
Well,
so
they're also predicting the negative things. They're predicting the evil that Microsoft will do, as opposed to looking at past history as what they have done and what they are doing now. And that's really what some of the issue is they're predicting, and you can't play Minority Report. That's not feasible.
Yeah. The current Xbox and Microsoft have already proven a certain IP that they've acquired, whether through the ZeniMax, Minecraft, that they will continue supporting and putting those games on other platforms, with either DLC, but new game, like Minecraft have had new games, like dungeons. You still have Fallout 76 and.
I mean, look at Fallout 76. Doesn't it get like the next gen upgrade for free? And I think
that and Fallout Shelter
on all yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it is on
they have shown that
including the PlayStation version and stuff. So it's like
they want to continue supporting those games that already have communities on other platforms, and I don't see that changing with Call of Duty.
Yeah, Minecraft is also a special deal.
Yeah, it is.
Because it was written in per their contract, but you would think that was only for Minecraft itself. But like you said, with all the spin-offs, it's interesting to see that they kept it open to everything, and it's
right.
It's done so much better than they ever expected, because who's going to play this blocky game? That's a lot of money for this game, and then you're going to put this limitation on us that we can't make it exclusive. And they bought it and they did it, and look at where it's at. It's exploded even bigger. So same thing here could happen for Call of Duty. It could be even bigger.
It could.
Yeah.
But remember, and I've said this the last few weeks, and I know it's sort of something that we're all thinking. This whole thing isn't about Call of Duty. It's all about King.
It's not.
It's all about the mobile. That's where they want to go. and that's where they want to be. And that, by the way, leads into another piece of news that happened actually today. And let me see if I've got something I can play in the meantime while we're talking about it, because it's somewhat, it's news. I think it's something people have been waiting for a very long time. Not a big thing necessarily for me, but let's see. I think it was today. Was it today? Today, the 25th anniversary stream for Age of Empires.
Yep.
And a couple of things were announced during this. Number one, that there was a brand new Age of Empires mobile that they're working on. So, of course, they want to go into mobile. They want to be in that space. And they've been trying to get into that space in other games. Obviously, they tried with Forza, but it wasn't really the same. They're sort of Trojan horsing mobile a little with Game Pass Ultimate and cloud gaming. I mean, obviously, they're shooting for that, but they understand that Candy Crush makes a ton of money. So, they announced it in Age of Empires for mobile. But they also announced that Age of Empires is finally, after so many years, coming to console. So, starting with Age of Empires 2 Definitive Collection, which will be out in January, I think January 23rd is what I saw. That's coming to Xbox with Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. And then Age of Empires 4 is coming to Xbox later in the year. So, good stuff on this if you are an Age of Empires or an RTS fan. I used to be, so I feel like I want to give this a look.
Yeah.
I don't think I have the patience anymore to do that.
It depends.
Yeah, you got to be in the mood.
Yeah.
Because I love this Tiberian Sun, Red Alert. Back in the day, I used to play these things hours.
I don't have the time anymore.
I know, yeah.
I used to play.
Later,
We used to play that one more game, and then all of a sudden it'd be like 6 o'clock in the morning, and be like, I got to get a 15 minute sleep so I can go to work and work all day, and then go right back at it. As time has progressed, I'm not as versatile as I used to be when those games first came out. So it's a catch-22. I'll reminisce, but I won't be playing much.
I'm an old Command and Conquer guy. I wasn't as much into Age of Empires, but
Warcraft.
I didn't play Warcraft as much. We'll see. It's in Game Pass. I can give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? It'd be like Bard's Tale, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So, and on the back of this, this might drive some interest into that genre. I mean, Microsoft is not. I think this was something they wanted to do, and they've wanted to do it for a while, and I just don't think they knew how. Because one of the biggest complaints has always been trying to emulate what mouse and keyboard would be like with a controller. Yeah. And that's still going to be a question for a game like this.
Yeah,
But
if they move that to touchscreen, and if they do the touchscreen controls correctly, I've played some games with touchscreen which the controls are very limited, and I've played other games where you're using your touchscreen as a mouse, your finger, and so it just depends on how they do it for that part. Console, it's always going to be an issue unless they allow the keyboard and mouse to be interfaced. Halo did a good job, but it just still was a little wonky with the controls.
Yeah. Halo Wars, I thought was that's a way to do it.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if that translates into Age of Empires.
Yeah.
So, staying on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that they're making it available on mobile and then now console. We've had other RTSs on the console before. I played Command Conquer, I think Tiberian Sun, but I played it in the beginning when it first came out. I played it on PC, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it on console, but it wasn't the same. But I guess that during that time I was like, I'm not feeling the RTSs anymore, so I just didn't continue. But when they announced when the update for the AOE 2 and then 4 was coming out, they're like, well, why can't it come out day and date on the console too? And it's like, I get some people complaining they want it on console, but like you said, they really have to. It takes time to make sure that making sure that it works with controller as almost as well as you can with mouse and keyboard, but that doesn't happen overnight, and we got to give these developers time to work on that, and it seemed like they finally now they're ready. They made a big announcement today, so I think that's pretty cool, and hopefully people on console and mobile catch on to it, and and it's successful. So.
Yep. Well, look, if it's anything like if it's anything like what Microsoft is doing overall, they put out their Q3 numbers today, and Xbox hardware's up a little bit. Their Game Pass subscriptions are up. They're doing really well, and really funny how developer a developer or two. Let's not make this out to be every developer's come out and trash the Series S.
Yeah.
But they're selling a lot of Series S machines. And
yeah,
remember Dying Light 2?
I remember
they blamed it on the Series S, and now it's optimized. Oh, now it's working great, wonderfully.
Now it runs wonderful. Yeah.
So,
it is what it is. I don't want to. I don't have much of an interest in that. It's ridiculousness. All right, so there's that. What else we got? So see, we talked about that. PlayStation is getting Discord. So they will also have the Discord voice integration, which honestly I think is a good thing. I think it's a good thing to have that, because to be honest with you, I don't have as big a friends list on the PlayStation as I do Xbox, but Discord will allow me to open that up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, provide that cross chat.
Yeah.
And also, who was it? Somebody also brought up that with Discord being available on, Xbox and PlayStation, where you can launch a pretty much a party chat straight from the console. So could you use that to stream? And you're streaming with party chat, like you're in the, not party chat, but Discord chat, but from the console,
That is a good question.
like you do on PC. Because, you know, I've been in podcasts before where
I would imagine. I would
Discord
imagine you.
was used.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you could. So if you think about it, I don't think it does video, right? I don't think it does video. It's just the audio chat. But sure, you could stream. I mean, theoretically, you could
But
stream.
you
an
can
audio
share on there. You can share your screen.
You can. So which way are you looking? What are you? What's?
Well,
Maybe
I'm trying to think. So you're still going to use OBS, but you're like we use Skype, but you're still using Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to. You're using Discord for the audio, but you should be able to also, of course, your source is coming from whatever console you're using. But or if you're doing a podcast, you're still using the chat, the Discord chat, like you would Skype, right?
Right.
But I know when I brought it up in the chat, but you said, you know, I didn't fully understand, but you're saying that Discord doesn't have something that Skype has, right?
It's called. It's the NDI. So the reason
NDI.
that the reason I can move everything around and so this is we get a little technical on podcasting here. When you're using something like Zoom or Discord or Microsoft Teams or what have you, in order to put everybody on the screen like you see the four of us, well, the three of us, because Dread I could just make a static image, but if Dread was on camera, the four of us, the reason that Skype is so much easier than the others is these are individual NDI sources. So every one of your Skype windows is a separate window source. So instead, that's why I can also turn off people. That's why I can do this and turn all of us on and off on a whim, because I don't have to do screen captures. And like, so Charlie rolled out and it didn't. Remember in the old days when I used to have to do screen captures, and if somebody came on, it would shift people. You'd be in half of Peter's screen, and remember all that nonsense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
NDI fixes that by making every one of your guys' Skype windows an individual network source. And so that's why I can do the things I can do. I can't do that yet with Discord because Discord does not support that.
Yeah.
I would like them to.
I would say more like OBS does not support that with Discord per se.
No, it's so it's the other way around, and there's a lot of feature requests for NDI. NDI is a standard, right? Discord, OBS doesn't have a way to do anything other than either NDI or screen capture, and to do screen capture doesn't matter. It's not a Discord thing. You have to go and you have to do a section of the screen, or you have to do the whole monitor or whatnot. That's something that that's something that people have been asking for Discord to add for a while now. Once Discord has that capability, then OBS will use it the same way it uses Skype, and that might. I would think that would help. I think that would help us in that Skype takes a lot of GPU, and Discord does not. So I could see that even making things a little better over where I stream, because that's something that it's kind of hit or miss when I get Peter and Chris on the screen over at my other PC when I'm streaming gameplay, and that is something I would like to have a better handle on, but I can't. So
yeah, but with Discord being both on, of course you have a PC, but being on Xbox and now PS5, that's something that playing a crossplay game. That is something that if we want to have a big party, we would use Discord and have people from multiple platforms.
That's how.
But other than that,
yeah.
Do you see Discord taking over as the main source for party chats, or
That's a good question?
Only for crossplay stuff?
I don't know. I feel like Microsoft's put a lot of money into Xbox Live. I don't know that they would. I don't know. I don't know that they would make it the sole. I don't know. I don't think they'd make it the sole thing.
I think that the only reason why they're looking at it is because most people on PC would rather use Discord, and they're just trying to open it up because they are playing cross-platform games. We can play Halo. We can play Horizon. Forza Horizon. We can play that with PC, and we can play it with consoles. So I think that's just another means of getting the communities together, because a lot of PC just does not want to. They're like the old person in the room. They don't want to accept change. So I think that's why they're looking at a way to integrate both to get more more communication between the players and interaction. Because if you want to play with your friends and they only have PC and you only have a console, you can't play together. So I see that, even though they've invested so much on Xbox Live, which would, they even have now what they did the update so you can.
Yeah, but it's
bring down
live
the voice.
Live is more than just that, though.
No, exactly. But I don't think they're giving it up.
There's still a party going on, but they just use a different, different transport.
I use but I use the Xbox app on my computer when we were playing party games.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I'm on PC playing the games with you guys or I'm on console, I'm still streaming, and I still have the Xbox app on my PC, so I can just play this way and still talk to the stream.
Yeah.
I still use that. I don't use Discord, but I'm also the one that likes to experiment with a whole bunch of different things. And when it comes to whether or not I use Discord, I don't care. I'll use Teams. I use Teams every day for work. I don't have the issues that people say that there are issues. You're using Skype. I don't have any issues every time you use Skype, and we're here doing it here, doing these live shows. And people are still hating on Skype. So I think it's just a way for them to reach out to the rest of the community to try to bring them in. I don't think they're going to try to convert them to Xbox Live unless they do a, like another NDI thing between that and Live, and be able to cross that. But that could be something in the future that we don't know. Saying it out loud makes sense.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Well, it'll be interesting where it goes, and maybe we can try it one time. One of these days for a game night.
I'd be willing to try it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think we can. I'm not looking to replace Skype for our podcast.
No.
Unless they move to NDI. If Discord did, that'd be different. But I'd be willing to see how it integrates. You know where it might actually really help? Remember the night we played Rocket League with GoGameGo and Papa Pete, and they all had to get on Xbox Live on their phones, and it was all kind of weird. That might be where this comes into play, as you're saying. I could see that. So,
just another option.
Yeah, just another option. All right. You know what? It's actually all the news I had. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. No, I think we pretty much hit all the latest.
How about Microsoft profits are down 14% while Xbox is up?
Yeah, I kind of touched on that a little bit. Say, look, Xbox the software is down a little bit, but that's because they haven't had anything out. Next year, their software sales are going to be just gangbusters. I think, the good news is we're almost there. 2023 is almost here. Got a couple more months, and we'll be, Peter and I will be immersed in God of War, Ragnarok, and then, once we're through that, then the 2023 hits, and all will be wonderful. So, not worried about it.
Hopefully, Friend will be available.
Hopefully we will be friends. So, looking at the game kind of news rags. Nothing else is really going on. The CMA, the Age of Empires stuff. That's really the big stuff that was out there. So, and it's 12:15, so we're right on time. We've pretty much gotten this down to a 2-hour 45-minute show. I'm happy with that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else to cover before we head out?
I mean, I think.
I think so.
No, it was a good topic on Call of Duty and from the latest.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I'm losing my voice, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that. I was saying it in the Discord. I'm wondering if I'm starting to get a cold, because I'm starting to get that ick in the back of my throat, and kind of that little hair bit of congestion. So
hot chamomile tea with some honey.
Yep. Oh, I'm gonna do that. I drink a lot of water. Brother Big Block, there's always people showing up at the end.
That Big Block.
Raph says, I keep wanting to say God of War Fraggle Rock. That's the game we really want.
I'll play that.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start getting us out of here. Dread, as always, I'm glad you're here. Glad you reminded me, basically by calling me and saying, yeah, I'm supposed to be on tonight. I appreciate that, because I just forget. Because it's so nonchalant. Right. You are one of the few. You, Back from the Dead, are honestly one of the few that take us up on the offer of, hey, whenever you want to come on, just come on. So you take us up on it so much. I never truly pencil you in. So,
when I don't like making promises, but when I say something, I try to hold true to it. So you know, worst case scenario. But
and Yobi too.
yeah.
To be fair,
No.
Yobi as well.
But it's yeah, and it's always a great time here. It's always a great time talking to everybody. I mean, Chris is the only one that I haven't spoken to in person, but both you and Peter have been great, you know, in person. Just like you are here, the way you represent yourselves here, you've always represented yourselves in person, and you know, and obviously in the back of the scenes and everything. And it's been great. And Peter, I'm sorry, Chris is always in the back of the scenes representing himself properly, you know. So I can't wait to meet him. PAX South would have been great, but you know, hopefully they bring it back, because I know Carlo and I were talking about going to PAX South when they bring it back.
Yeah.
So, but again,
well, let me know when you plan on going to Mike's house to be a squatter for the Amico party. So I'll meet you there.
I'll let you know once I get there, before Mike locks up the doors. I got to sneak in first before he realizes it. But yeah,
I can't wait.
I can't wait to get my hands back on that console and play those games. You know, I've got the 8-pack right here sitting right next to me, just waiting to be played.
I can't wait.
Hold
for
on,
you as
Witch
well.
is talking. Hold on.
What is that?
The Witch, Wicked Witch of the West. She is one of my mom's props that I bought her. My brother and I bought for her back in the day.
Oh, nice.
And now she belongs to us. Well, my wife and myself. And she's been dead for, I don't know how long now. Well, the prop has been dead for how long? My mom passed away actually just over a year ago now. Prop died 5 years ago, but now she decided she wants to work.
Okay.
There we go.
She is doing her own thing, and now if it's lights or sounds, doesn't matter. She does her own thing, because sometimes it's like, okay, you know that the light's gonna turn on, she's gonna say something, and then like a day later, nothing you do will make her turn on. So, like, my wife just closed the door and she heard it and did her little, her little speech. She's got like 3 or 4 phrases. So just don't want the channel to get demonetized. That's the story as to what's going on.
Okay.
But
related to Annabelle?
maybe they want to know if she's related to Annabelle. The wife is saying no.
Okay.
Apparently, my mother is decided to reoccupy her. So
very nice.
Yeah, my mom got a kick out of it. She didn't have batteries in it, and she put batteries. My mom put batteries, and all of a sudden that thing would start talking out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, that's how we operate, right? We have fun with each other. We mentally mind F each other when it comes to stuff like this, and I guess she's coming back a year later to mess with us. She did that with my dad. Her phone is dead. No SIM card, no nothing, and her phone started ringing. My dad's freaking out like, are you sure? Are you sure? Stuff like that happens. But, we're into this stuff. We're into the Halloween stuff, which is why I haven't been able to play as many games. As I said earlier, we have this last weekend for the house that we sponsor, and then we got to tear everything down. We did go to Petrified Forest, which is a fellow house that I met with Carlo doing the Comic-Cons that we were doing. So it's great to see these houses. I was supposed to get a preview before the house opened, but we could not get there in time to see the houses so I can record and share what they had with you guys. But I do have some recordings of one of the places we're at, but that won't be until the 30th, so right before Halloween, after we shut down. Don't want to, spoil the fun for everybody. But that's what we've been doing recently. And good morning, Nathan. But again, you guys see my links. Just follow me wherever you want to follow. Thank you guys again. Wednesday night's Game Beyond the Box. Fridays Breakfast with Boom. And oh, I almost forgot. Yesterday, I did a special horror special for LOD Perspective with Venomous. So
Okay.
yeah, check that out. I put it in my podcast guesting playlist. 2 hours turned into 4, and it wasn't my fault. It was not my fault.
And I wasn't even there.
Yeah. What happened? Why'd you not show up? But anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure.
Always, Dread.
Yeah,
Always.
and it was great listening to Charlie. Thank you. It's great listening to him because he did have some insightful things, and all the stuff he was talking about. It was really interesting. Hence why I didn't talk much. I was just sitting back listening and enjoying what he had to bring. So, but again, thank you guys. Have a good night. Appreciate it.
Nate says, I like how Stinger knows we all pick on him about long podcasts. I know what's up. I'm not an idiot. I know what's up. I still love it though. I love when I can take somebody's 1 hour show and they go, "Oh, I want to have Myke on," and nobody warns them ahead of time.
3-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
I mean, you've been podcasting for 42 years, so definitely, definitely got the experience.
Right, for the last 6 years. All right. Thank you, and of course, Dread, it as always, you are welcome anytime. It's even even when I don't remember, it is always great to have you. And don't forget, folks. Yes, go ahead.
We are 20 minutes over my wife's birthday. It has ended 20 minutes ago.
And you're still going to be on the couch when we're done. But thank your wife. Thank your wife for letting you hang out with us on her birthday.
Happy birthday to the wife.
Happy birthday, Madam Dread.
Oh, she. I guess she went to the room. Oops.
Oh, the
yeah,
room
it's couch time for
you're
me.
not going
So
to.
anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, happy birthday to my beautiful wife.
Yes.
Belated now.
All right, so we're going to get out of here tomorrow night. Going to have some fun. We have 3 great shows on tomorrow with the Gamers United Guild. All of the links you can find down below. We got GoGameGo and the Backlog Bastards both on at 8 o'clock. And then 2 of the 3 are here. The third one might be listening. He was in earlier. The 3-man team that is Amico Forever, Nick and Rab and DJC. We are going to we're gonna have some fun tomorrow. I'm gonna pop in there. We're gonna have some fun, and so there's that. 4GQTV on Thursday. Iconic Video Games Podcast on Friday. Evercast on Saturday morning. And Brother Lemon with the Dragon's Den Saturday night. Sunday morning is Good Morning Xbox, and Sunday evening is TXR. Monday night is Astro Smashed with DJC Game Studios. Yes. Papa Pete gets in some streams every once in a while. And then we will be back Tuesday night after Retro Renegades at 7 p.m. We'll be back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another NLG show, and goodness knows what we'll have to talk about then.
That's
Peter,
right.
Chris?
Clean up after that filth. Retro Renegades. They always leave a mess.
Yeah.
Clean them up.
Yeah, but it's a good mess.
Yeah, I love it. Gamers United Guild is great. So.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And it's all good things with all good people. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, Peter, Chris, great show again as always.
Yep.
And,
glad to be back.
And Dread, we'll see you very soon, of
better.
course. Good night,
Definitely.
everybody in chat, everybody who's hung through the whole time, and even if you're just listening. And Star Paddler, I hope if you're still listening, you got to where you needed to go tonight. And everybody who's here, Love you guys all. Don't forget, check out Master System Marceau, by the way, at his awesome outrun speed runs. And I will say it on air, Marceau, the dedication to that one speed run that you dedicated to me really was I love that. Really meant a lot. And you're a great guy. So good night, everyone. We will see you soon. Hey, I'll catch you guys. No, I'll catch them tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Play on, gamers.
Come on, guys.
Adios.